Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Chris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Monster Truck and a bunch of boats, Dan Ryan.
That makes me really happy.
And pantsless
they finally
man in
found
the
some
snow,
skis that'll fit
Dean
me.
DeFalco.
Where am I going to get all that money from? Where am I going to get all that money from? Where is all the money coming from? We're going to answer those questions
We're going to
tonight.
talk about that because I had that exact question. Where did the stacks of money come from? Whatever. All aboard the SAG Cartoon Express.
God damn it.
We all watched and this word's doing a lot of heavy lifting here, classic episode of Video Power, Acclaim's attempt to make their games seem more popular than they were. Was it better than Donkey Kong Country? Watch out for cigar bombs because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. Hi, everyone. This is episode 536. It's the week of October 18th, 2024, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games, and once a month, Dean comes and joins us. And we do it all from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the heck else is going on in our lives. And speaking of which, how the hell are you?
Who wants to go
I'm going to
first?
start. No,
All right,
I'm jumping in first because I got like legitimately some really good news this week. So Wednesday, when we recorded the podcast last week, right, I was saying, man, I was really bummed because like I wasn't feeling good. Like I mentioned it at the end of the episode, I wasn't feeling good, and the cumulative effects of the chemotherapy are starting to add up. Where like the first treatment I got back in August, I felt pretty crappy. Like I went to the emergency room because I had a fever and whatever. Like I felt pretty bad for like 4 or 5 days afterwards, but then I felt okay. I was like, oh, all right, this isn't too bad. And then the next time I, still got like 5, 6, 7 days of feeling pretty good at the end of it, before the next infusion would happen. And then this last one, so after number 4, I think it is fair to say that feeling good is now no longer on the table. Like, that's just not a thing that I'm going to feel until all of this is done.
You said there was good news here. This all sounds like bad news.
There is. No, there's good news, right? So, and I've been mentioning on the show about, like, how the love and the support and all of that is so appreciated, and it really does warm my heart to no end. And I have a hard time, like, accepting that amount of love and support and all of that. And the love is sent right back. But at the same time, it's all very isolating, and feeling kind of bummed out and like, man, I really feel like fucking garbage. We recorded on Friday. I felt pretty shitty. And then on Saturday, I was supposed to go over to my aunt's house and we were going to do like a birthday thing with my Uncle Harvey and for me. And like, I called her up about halfway through the day and I was like, I can't go. Like, I feel like garbage. And she runs like the rescue with us. She's got 12 dogs at her house. And they're all like little dogs, they're like Yorkshire Terriers or whatever. But it's just, I'm going to go over there. I feel like shit. The dogs are going to be barking. They're going to be jumping on me. And I love them when I'm there. But I can't go. And I've never done that. Like, I've never, ever, ever done that. Right. And she was like, shut the fuck up. We're bringing everything to you. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be awesome. And they did. They brought everything to me, and she bought me a dope pair of over-the-ear headphones, but the earbuds that go around the outside of your ear, and you don't have to like jam the fucking AirPods in because those are uncomfortable as fuck, and I don't know why anybody has them. These are so good. They're like Soundcores. They're really nice. But like, she brought me gifts over, and she brought me a German chocolate cake that I could kind of taste a little bit, but I was feeling so shit I didn't want to eat it. Blah, blah. Anyway, so I was getting bummed out, and it's like, all right, but on Wednesday, I get my PET scan. And when I get the PET CT, like, it's going to tell me, I know it's going to tell me that things are moving in the right direction. Right. Because I can feel the nodes in my neck. I can feel them under my arms. I can fucking I know it's working. I just don't know how much. Right.
Sure.
So I gotta get some good news on Wednesday. So I go to the place, and this scan was longer than the last one that did the same thing. Kris, you would not be able to do it. I hope you don't ever need this procedure, like a scan like this, because the first one I did, they put me in the tube. They strap my arms down. The tube is like an inch or two away from your face. It feels like it's not. It's definitely more than that. But when you open your eyes in the tube, you're like, I can't fucking move. This is what it feels like going when they fucking incinerate bodies. This is what this must feel like. Because it's the same. It slowly slides you into a thing, and you can't move. It's fucking weird. It's a weird experience. But the first time I went through it, it was 12 minutes is how long it took to do the scan. This one was 33 minutes that I had to be in the thing. And I was like, the whole time I'm in there, because your head is not in it the entire time. They put you in feet first so that your head is the first thing that scans, so it's the first thing that comes out. My head got out of the thing, and I could look at the front of the machine as it was just scanning my torso and my legs and whatever at 16 minutes in. But my arms are strapped down again, the whole thing, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. The whole time I'm in there, I'm thinking Kris would be dead by now. He would have had a panic attack and Hulk smashed through this fucking really expensive machine. And that's kind of funny, and I want to see it happen. But anyway, so you go through the whole process, and then I go and pick up the results. And legitimately, every single fucking affected thing said market improvement.
Hooray!
Every single thing. And there are areas that I have right now that are clear, and they weren't 4 treatments ago.
Hey, that's fucking huge news.
It's so reassuring, and okay, the work is a weird way to put it, but the process is working. The program, the doctors know what the fuck they're talking about. The attitude that I have, the positivity that I've received from people, the grace and care that people have given me that are allowing me to be the shittiest fucking version of myself currently, who can't help, there are days when I can't fucking eat or take the trash out because I'm just in fucking pain, or I'm just miserable. Everybody who is allowing me to be a shitbag version of myself currently, it's working. The biggest lymph node that I had, the most concerning one, was over 12 centimeters. Okay. And when you're getting scanned, anything over 2 is considered cancerous. This one was 12. So quite a bit bigger. It's now gone down to slightly over 2 centimeters. So not out of the woods. I'm not cured. I'm not in remission, but I am so much fucking closer, and I am on the path, and I am just so grateful and thankful and relieved that this is working, because this scan was a scan of my brain to my toenails. And we didn't scan my brain last time. And it was like, well, that's some shit that's going to fester while I'm sitting here in this fucking tube. God damn it. All right, let's see. And everything else is clear. There's no new areas affected. Everything is moving in the right direction. And I got my 5th infusion this morning. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I've got, a ton of positivity. In the face of I didn't feel okay until 8:30 last night. You know what I mean? It's 8:30 last night. I was like, oh, I feel kind of normal. Cool. I'm going to get up in the morning and get my fucking infusion at 8 and start the roller coaster again, which is fine because now I know it's working. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, those are all huge things, and having a progress report like that makes everything better.
It really does. It's like, okay, you're going to have to learn to eat shit and like the taste of it for a little bit. However, at the end of that, it's
all, you know,
and I'm talking to my family, and I'm like, look, guys, we do Thanksgiving at our house always. Tiff is an amazing cook. Chat is an amazing cook. And that makes me laugh every time. I don't know if anybody else laughs. I fucking laugh. I called her Chat today when we were walking down the stairs. She did such a fucked up thing. I'm a little scatterbrained right now because I'm jacked up on steroids. As we're walking out of the infusion center, there's like an automatic door, and there's two buttons on the wall. There's a button to turn off the lights. There's a button to close or open the door. So we're walking out of this place. Fucking Tiff hits the button to turn out the lights. I was like, nice. Oh, it's so fucked up, man. All these people are in here getting infusions. You just turned off the lights on them. Like, fuck you guys. We're done. We're out. Anyway, so I was just talking to my family, and I'm like, look, we can't do Thanksgiving this year. It's not a thing that's going to happen. We're not going to, I'm not going to come to anybody's house for Christmas. I'm not coming to put up your Christmas lights the day after Thanksgiving. Like, none of that is fucking happening this year. And it's like, that sucks. But on the flip side of that, I do get to have more Thanksgivings and more Christmases because my treatment is working. So that's where we're at. Super positive, very excited about it. I knew that this is where it was going. You know, as I've said from the very beginning of this isn't it. Fuck you, fuck cancer. No, this isn't it. It's just nice to have some scientific confirmation that I'm not, you know, that I'm correct.
No, for sure, man.
So, yeah.
I'm happy for you, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you, too. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway. Did you have anything else? I mean, that's huge, obviously. I don't want to cut
yeah,
you
that's,
off.
I mean, no, go ahead. Like, I cannot, the chemo brain has officially kicked in. So I'm not even entirely sure what I just shared with everyone. I've already forgotten everything I've said. It's gone.
You were talking about the homunculus again.
No, fuck. God damn it. Tiff and I, we had a conversation like earlier in the week, and she told me that her front driver's side headlight was out. I was like, oh, we should definitely fix that because you drive at night. That's a thing we should fix, and it's an easy fix. And then I didn't do it because I was feeling like shit, and she didn't do it because she didn't do it. And then like a couple days later, I drove the kids to school, and it was foggy in the morning, so I turned the headlights on, and I noticed that her headlight was out. So when I got home, I was like, babe, your headlight's out. We should really get that looked at because you drive. And she was like, do you not remember the fucking conversation we had like literally 2 days ago? And I was like, I mean, now that you bring it up, I remember it. But in this exact moment, no, that conversation did not exist in my brain. You had to put it back in. Fuck, dude. I'm sorry.
Could be worse. Could be raining.
It's fun. Your nose could be gushing blood.
You know, I was just thinking about that. I think about that movie often. And specifically if Danny DeVito dying at the very end of the movie with like just black goop gushing out of his mouth, and his hair's all scraggly and gross, and he's just gasping for breath. I can think of someone on this planet that that's how I want to see them go, and I want video footage of it happening.
Jesus.
That's exactly
that got real dark, Chris. I'm just saying.
Wow, that
I was
really
just thinking
did.
that while I was out walking. Like, that's how I want it to go. When that happens, that's how I want it to go, and I want to see it. I'd love to be there live if possible, but just seeing it on camera would be good enough.
All right. Jesus Christ.
Is it Zach? Nobody else get that was for me and Chris. That's all. It's fine. I didn't think so, but maybe Justin.
No, nobody I've ever met in person.
What the fuck?
It's obviously Iggy Azalea. Yeah, I know how much you fucking hated that fancy song.
That girl from the Wild Thornberrys, or the guy.
Sandra Oh is what it is.
Sandra Oh. Fuck Sandra Oh. All my homies hate Sandra Oh.
My weird irrational hatred of that woman. No, of course.
You really...
sorry, I'm thinking
obviously,
politics.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead.
Of course, obviously.
Good. I mean, we agree then. We were just hoping, like, Timmy down the street wasn't going to all of a sudden start melting because, like, he stepped on your lawn one too many times.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in the documentaries when they were like, there were no signs that Kris was a murderer. And then they'll pull up this episode of the podcast and be like, oh, there were fucking signs. They were there. They were right there.
Fucking billboards. What are you talking about?
He detailed it. Yeah. Signs. Fuck. They were like those fancy electronic billboards that like change shit. And they were like, aha, just kidding. Let's go back to talking about how Kris is going to murder this kid.
Oh, God. All right. Settle down, kids. Settle down. Yeah. I had my pre-construction meeting for my house. That was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That makes things very real. They're gonna start building on the 23rd. And then sometime in. Is
it too late to put an octagonal room into the designs? Because that's something that I've always wanted, Dean, and I don't think I'm ever going to get it.
Listen, Dan,
if you could do that for me.
You're putting a lot on me right now, and I love you, but I don't have an extra $20,000 to add an octagonal room right into the middle of my house. I'm just saying.
I took you to WrestleMania. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, all right, but if we're gonna split hairs, you got the ticket for free.
Pay the piper, Dean. That's was right, the price.
You didn't know that shit came with strings. Oh, but they were there. It was just fishing lines, so you couldn't see it real well.
I don't know. That's like some heavy duty cable. Sounds like, Dan. Some shit
fucking
you tow a train car with.
Just clear.
God. Anyway, everything went pretty well.
I'm not kidding. I want that octagonal room. But
you can hang out. I'll put a fucking octagon in the backyard for you. Okay. We have a big backyard.
Can I ask why?
Yeah.
I don't. It is, as we discussed earlier in the fucking Discord chat. It is like my irrational hatred of Sandra Oh, obviously. But also Bomberman. I don't have a good reason.
What would you do with it?
It would be. I want it to be my bedroom. I don't. That's what I want. I don't know why.
But
there has to be. There has to be some pop culture thing from my past. A movie or a comic book, or probably not a video game.
The UFC exists, so
it's just your desire to be an Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. No, I don't even like Ultimate Fighting all that much.
Yeah, consciously, clearly,
maybe subconsciously,
you are dreaming of being a UFC fighter.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm fucking like obsessed with the idea to the point where Tiff and I will talk about when we retire. And we, buy a house.
Gotta have that octagonal room.
She does. She's like, and I'm not putting an octagonal room in it. I'm like, well, then we're not fucking doing it. Obviously.
Fine. Gazebos. I'm going to have 6 gazebos, and they're all going to be octagons.
No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. No, it's too small.
It's
too small. It's got to be a room in the house.
No matter what, I'm literally building a house. No one gave me the option for an octagonal fucking room, okay?
It's because you didn't fucking ask for it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
right.
You gave yourself the option. If you're writing the fucking check, you'd be like, hey, sir, come here. So we got to discuss these plans. I see there's no spot for it. However, it's not my job. You figure out where the fucking octagonal room goes.
Yeah, I'm sure I could definitely afford the extra money that would cost. I'm super, super stoked to get that on my mortgage payment for your octagonal room, Dan. So you could fucking, I don't know, jump off the wall and Superman punch people, because that's the only thing an octagonal wall could be good for.
I don't know. I really, really don't fucking know. I don't know why. But, obsessed with this idea.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
What about a hexagon? Agree. What about a pentagon?
No, fuck hexagons. Hexagons are for fucking quitters.
Okay. Because
I don't know why.
So, what if you had one that was a dodecagon? Would that be too many sides?
All right, look. Now we're just.
This is almost a circle.
Silly. Okay, this is getting out of bounds.
I'm just asking. Where's your line? Does it always have to be 8?
Yes, 8. That's the line.
It can't be any less. Can't be any more. It has to be exactly 8 every time.
The line will be here.
So do you just want a house full of octagonal rooms that also create a giant octagon?
Just one. I think it'll do interesting things to the rest of the design.
If it's your bedroom, no one's going to go in there. So, I mean, it defeats...
Yeah, obviously.
But then no one's going to see it. So who gives a fuck about the design?
I don't do shit for other people. I mean, this podcast,
I'm just saying, I don't think you've thought this out at all. Not that I thought you thought it out, but...
Boy, I have thought this out. This has been... I am talking... going on now close to, like, so when we moved back up here, Tiff and I started talking about plans for building a house, and her sister was involved that they were going to build a house and we were going to do things and all this different stuff. We're going back like a decade plus of this being hashed out. I got close at one point. We were going to buy, there's going to be some shit down in Hamilton, New Jersey, and we were like, there was an octagonal room, the final approved, everybody was on board, like we were going to homestead some shit. Everybody was on board, and I had my octagonal bedroom. It was awesome. I fucking loved the design of this, and then that fell through, which it should have, because it was a horrible idea. Not the octagon. That was a great idea. The homesteading thing was a terrible idea. But I was so fucking bummed. I know. I've never brought this up because because it's never
really
had an opportunity
stupid
to come up.
I mean,
because no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And I love you, but like,
I stand by it. No, sure.
This is a stinker, Dan.
This is a dumb fucking hill to die on, but nope. Octagonal bedrooms are the car of the future. Thank you, Homer.
All right. If you God bless, Dan. I hope you get your octagonal room one day. I really do.
One day. That and a steam shower.
Steam shower I kind of like too. That does sound nice. I am going to have a tankless water heater, which is fucking awesome. Cause
that's awesome.
Yeah, that means I can just have unlimited hot water. But because water's so expensive down here, I won't be taking a long shower. So there's also the downside of that.
Sure.
Also, fun fact, where I live, there isn't a lot of gas lines, or there didn't used to be. Everything down here used to be electric. So
okay.
I was very excited when I found out, one, the house will have gas, so I will have a gas stove, which is very, very nice. And then two, Verizon Fios services the area, so I won't have shitty internet, which is probably the best thing. Because all I want to do is record shit and upload it and stream, but I can't do that. I haven't been able to do that reliably for years because all of a sudden Comcast will just, or Xfinity, whatever the fuck the demon wants to call itself, will just be like, hey, we're going to disconnect. I know that's inconvenient for you. We don't know when you're going to get it back. Could be tomorrow. Could be next week. And we're also not going to reimburse you because we don't fucking care because no one else in the area is going to help. And
that's
that's just how it went.
I know that sucks for you, but we honestly don't give a shit.
Yeah, and
sorry.
Now that we don't have them anymore, I'm so fucking excited because I want to download things at high speeds again. Literally, my friend wanted to get me the new Baldur's Gate game that came out, but she's afraid to digitally send it to me because I won't be able to download it because that's how slow the fucking connection is here. So
by the time you move,
maybe
it'll be downloaded for 6 months.
I can play it on the day that I'm leaving. I'm loading it into the truck with the TV on.
There you go.
But yeah. So
that's fucking super exciting, man. Yeah. That's really, really awesome. I'm sorry for the sidetrack.
No.
Into my octagonal room.
I do feel like
really fucking great.
Yeah, I feel like a grown up now. Like this is exciting times. Yeah. Are we talking about games here, or are we gonna make a round first?
I'm sorry. Do you mean round or octagon?
Oh, are we gonna make an octagon first? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Look, Dick. You don't have to sell me on it anymore. I'm already in. I'm fully invested.
Oh, God.
You'd say octagon all you want. I don't even like stop signs that much.
Oh, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't say, yeah. I also went to a bachelorette party in Boston.
You're not supposed to go to those.
Yeah, no. Well, you guys know my very close friend, Jess. Big fan of the show. Big fan of cons and helping us out when needed at times. And she's getting married soon, and she was like, "Hey, you're my best friend, but you're also a dude, so
put on a dress and come to my bachelor party."
Put on a dress and a wig and
pretty much. So yeah, it was fun though. There was karaoke. We went on like an old school brewery or bar tour of Boston, which was cool. We went to like 4 different bars, got to learn some history. We went to the oldest one in supposedly the country, which I guess it could be possible. Apparently, it was so old that at one point it needed to be renovated, but they just bought the place across the street and moved it across the street. So that was interesting.
Fuck it, it's too old.
Yeah. Had some good beer while I was down there, and I got some other stuff that is definitely not legal everywhere, but it was legal there, so I loaded up.
Acid.
Lots of acid. Tripping balls the whole time. Weather was terrible. Go ahead.
Well, Boston's a horrible place.
Yeah.
How many racist things did you hear while you were in Boston?
So we didn't hear anything till we went on the bar tour, and then we met a very colorful bartender, and man, he would not stop. And my friend Joey was with me because the girls were kind enough to not like want me to be the only guy, so they invited a close friend of Jesse's as well, and he was just staring at this man, like almost perplexed that these things were coming out of his mouth. And I was eating it up.
He didn't know the Boston racism.
Oh, I was smiling. I was nodding. I was like, "Go on, yes, tell me more, sir. Tell me more. I want to hear all about your depraved thoughts." But the tour guide, I guess, saw what was happening and the horrified look on my friend's face, and then she kind of like shuttled us away. But I was having a great time listening to him just fully crash out. It was awesome. That was really, really cool. Shout out to Jess, getting married soonish. So yeah, I love that girl. And then I'm getting married next week.
I don't know. Chris, you didn't get an invite to that bachelorette party, did you? I mean, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
You wouldn't want
shout out
to be
is
honest.
Maybe strong.
Well, hey, that's my gal, pal. Don't be mean. Yeah, and then I'm
just kidding. I love Jess.
I'm doing
She's
the
best.
whole.
She can do whatever she wants.
All right. Well, there you go.
Me to shit.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Noted.
Yeah, because I'm not getting her anything.
All right. Well, also good to know. Yeah, and then I'm not getting. Well, yeah. Jesus. I'm getting legally married next week, so we're not doing like a big celebration or anything. But like, yeah, I'm getting married because it seems smart before like we have a house and shit, and I kind of want like,
you better lock that shit down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, that's it. So
Prenup the fuck out of that girl.
We're getting married.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I understood the reference.
That is again gigantic.
Exciting.
Congratulations, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's exciting. I'm just. It's not like I'm not excited, but there's a lot of things happening all at once, and my stress levels are very fucking high. So I'll be happy once like January hits and I'm in a house and I can live in my neon cave forever and not be bothered. But there's plenty of fun things that happen in between. Larissa's,
it's a good thing you got all that meth.
Yeah. Tons of it. Just keep me going, man. Why do you think I can't stop talking? Obviously, Larissa's beside herself excited. And that makes me happy. The fact, obviously, as a husband and partner, you guys know when your wife is happy, that's probably one of the best things you can see aside from your kids being happy. So, yeah, that makes me happy.
That kids.
Yeah.
Wife doesn't matter anymore.
Just push her out the window. Yeah.
That's how you got the kids in the first place.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true.
And then that stops, so you're like, well, I gotta hope these people are happy because I'm not.
These mini humans. Yeah. So that's been it. Like I said, I do have games, but let's make the octagon first, and we'll come back to the games. So, Chris,
look, if you're gonna keep that going throughout the rest of the thing, you got to do it like the TV announcer did on the UFC shit, inside the octagon. Like that's how it has to happen. Either commit to the bit or fuck off.
So I guess we're going to take one more round at Inside the Octagon. And then we'll come back for the games.
Appreciate it.
Or not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever you got to say pales in comparison to all of this, Chris.
I mean, Ellie's Powder Puff game happened this week, and she ran a play and almost scored a touchdown. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fucking
dope.
awesome. Was she stiff-arming fools? Like, fucking throwing elbows and shit?
No, she was actually kind of confused at first. Then she just bolted as quick as she could. Her team lost.
There you go.
Because on the other team, there was this girl that was just unreasonably faster than everyone else on the team. In fact, she was faster than anyone on the actual football team, too. Like, this girl was insanely quick. All 3 touchdowns that were scored on their team was because of this girl. She got the ball, and she got past everyone, and no one could catch her, and she just ran the whole field. And it was like, it wasn't even close. We're all just watching this girl go like, holy shit. That is unreasonable.
That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know. It's been a busy week. This is my 3rd night in a row of podcasting. Karen was out doing a show tonight, so I had both kids by myself. I'm exhausted, and I don't know. I feel like something else happened this week. The whole week is just a blur to me. I can't remember anything.
The Phillies lost.
They sure did. They They just got spectacularly
dramatic fashion
spanked.
Just
bent over their knees. Mets look. We haven't been a good team since the break. Like, that's just facts. The first half of the season we were unstoppable. Then it came back from the break and just decided to stand up there and shit the bed over and over again. There's we forgot how to hit the ball and all that stuff. It just not much offense going on. It just we stopped being a good team, and
pretty important to the overall game of baseball, though.
Is making sure hitting the ball. That is very important.
Fundamental. Some might argue.
That's what some might argue. But on the same token, not for nothing, the Mets have been doing really well. I was very confused by the Grimace outfits in the audience, and then I learned that apparently Grimace threw out the opening pitch at a game, and then the Mets have been on like just this crazy winning streak since. They've just been playing infinitely better, so now people are dressing up like the fucking Grimace. So, whatever works for them.
It's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
It really
because
is.
Of shit like that.
I am a Phillies fan, but I like baseball. Like, I'm not militant about the Phillies. That's my team. So I also am a big fan of an underdog story, and I feel like I'm like kind of rooting for the Mets now. I'm like, you know what? Go for it, guys. You guys get shit on all the time, and rightfully so. But you're doing
Mets.
pretty good right now. Go for it. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that just be fun if the Mets went and won the whole damn thing?
No, that would be awful. How dare you?
I don't want that.
What's wrong with you? That would be. Oh God,
I hate that actually.
If the Flyers are on tonight, though, my hockey started, and I just remembered right now because my evening's been such a shit show. Let's see. Yeah. I wonder how we're doing. How are my Flyers doing tonight? Oh, that hasn't started yet. It starts at Jesus Christ. Starts at 10. Huh.
Oh, is it a West Coast game?
Must be playing the Canucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Well, Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
If the Mets ever beat the Yankees in the World Series, New York will tear itself asunder.
It's going to implode on itself.
To see it happen. Come on, that's great. This is what it's all about.
That because if the Mets win, because the Mets have won the World Series, just not against the Yankees, and if we get a Subway Series and the Mets win, fuck.
I think that would be hilarious.
It would be something. There would be hilarity at points, but my God, I have to believe. So I watched the Yankee game last night. Like I've been obviously I'm watching all the games, the playoff games and whatever. But as the Yankees won last night to go to the ALCS, we're not sure. Oh, excuse me. As of this recording, if it's going to be the Guardians or the Tigers. The Tigers are a super fun underdog story too. Like, they traded away their best pitcher or one of their best pitchers at the deadline, and they were like, yeah, we're going to punt on the season. Oh, the playoffs. Fuck, we're in. All right, well, let's beat the Astros. Fuck, okay. Let's play really well against the fucking Guardians. Cool. Who are these guys? The Tiger. Okay. No matter what happens, if the Yankees make the World Series, you've got fucking compelling storylines, right? Which is what you want in sports. If the Yankees end up in the World Series and they play the Mets, that's fucking great. Everybody loves the Subway Series. If they play the Dodgers, that sucks for me, because then the games start at like fucking 10 o'clock at night. But you got Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, and Yankees and Dodgers haven't played in the World Series in 50-something fucking years. And that goes back to like the Brooklyn Dodgers shit. Like, so all of that's fun. If they end up playing the Padres, the fucking Padres traded Juan Soto to the Yankees last offseason, and now here they are, matching up. Like, it's fucking awesome. I love baseball. Love it.
Yeah, baseball's fun.
It's the fucking best. It's the best.
It's no wrestling, but I guess it's all right.
Well, I'm actually really kind of excited for this like last couple of days, because it was like, I got great news on Wednesday. Tuesday night, I watched a really good episode of AEW Dynamite. Wednesday, I got really good news. Thursday night, the Yankees fucking clinched going to the ALCS. I'm doing this bullshit with you fuckers tonight that I absolutely adore. Tomorrow night is Wrestle Dream. And Sunday night, the Giants, who somehow beat the fucking Seattle Seahawks last week. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but whatever. They're going to play the fucking Bengals on Sunday Night Football, and they're going to get fucking wrecked, is my prediction. They're going to get fucking destroyed. Because Danny Dimes...
The Bengals are real good at fucking shit up.
No, they are. But the Bengals are also... See, here's the problem. The Bengals are scoring upwards of 30 points a game. They are just happening to give up sometimes 40 points a game. If you score 30-something points in a football game, you should fucking win that football game. Like, that's kind of how that maths, The Giants do not put up 30 points in a football game. And Danny Dimes does not perform well in primetime games. Like, it basically looks like me if I was going like, Danny, that's close enough. Last names don't match, but the first names do. Get out there, kid. Be like, I'm 44 and I have cancer. They're like, fuck it.
I'm a literal cancer patient.
Fine, good, it's your Make-A-Wish.
Pitch.
That's right. Fuck, dude. Like, they're going to get wrecked, but I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be fucking great. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Karen's got, Karen's not thrilled about this coming Sunday because, my sister has done a bunch of renovations on her house, and one of the things that she's done is she's turned half of her garage into an entertainment room, and she's like, oh, the Raiders! Her team is the Raiders. The Raiders are playing the Steelers! You got she's a front runner. She was an Eagles fan when we were kids, and then the Eagles she is, but she isn't, right? So like, she was a big Eagles fan when we were kids because that was the local team, and then the Raiders became popular, and so she was like, "No, I've always been a Raiders fan. I'm all Raiders." But then she decided to stick with them for some reason because I guess she felt like she couldn't back out. So
I made my whole life about this, so now I have to be a fucking Raiders fan.
Yeah. So Karen is going over to watch football with my sister. After working 3 shows in a row, she's going to be exhausted, and the last thing she wants to do is go watch the Steelers at somebody else's house. She's going to want to be home in her pajamas with several beers. And unfortunately, that's just not going to be the case. And we'll see. We'll see how it all goes.
See if I have to bail out a prison or not.
Right. I don't love watching sports with other people. Like, at a game, different thing. Like, if I'm going to watch the game on TV, though, I don't want to be in a big setting. Like, almost ever.
I'm kind of with you on that. I had thoughts of calling up my friend Greg to ask if he wanted to watch like a Phillies game together, like in the playoffs, because he's local. He's one of my oldest friends, and I thought that sounded fun. And then I was like, you know what? I bet he wouldn't want to watch this with me, so I'm going to go ahead and not ask. I think it'll be fine. And it turns out, we lost anyway, so it probably wouldn't have been like the best of times. The game that they won, that was a tragic night for me because I'm a terrible fan. They started losing, and
so you turned it off.
Hopper needed to go for a walk, and I was like, well, I really don't want to watch them lose to the Mets, so I'm going to take Hopper for a walk. And then they fucking came back and won before I could get home. It's like, well, that's what I get. That's what I get.
It is. It's your fault.
Yeah, lesson learned. So I sat there and I watched the whole game, and then they lost. A bunch of shit.
They're proving a point to you.
You didn't watch last time.
Proving a point to me personally.
Yeah.
So should I just never watch games and always walk the dog? Like, is that what's going to guarantee the Phillies wins?
You have to now watch next season every game. You have to get the MLB app.
To make up.
You have to watch all 162.
Definitely not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. The first half of the season was a blast. Like when I took Ellie to that game, we were there and we got to see them win. Like that was so much fun. I love going to see baseball. But baseball's over for me now. I'm all hockey now. So
all right.
I'm happy that the Flyers are back. I'm looking forward to them having the exact same season, right? Because that's what happened to the Flyers last season. They were killer for the first half of the season, and they were just like, you know what? Never mind. And then the second half of the season, it all fell apart. And that's exactly what happened to the Phillies. And that's probably what's going to happen again this year. But you know what? It's still hockey. And I like hockey. Hockey's my favorite to watch. So I'm into that.
The smartest thing about Philadelphia sports that has ever been said was said by Bill Burr. And it was said when he was doing the comedy show that Opie and Anthony put on so fucking long ago. They went on a big tour and they were in Camden, and Bill Burr was tanking. Like nobody was laughing. And he went off on a fucking tirade on Philadelphia and their sports teams and whatever. And it's one of the funniest fucking things that has ever happened. And from the standpoint of listening to a stand-up comedian bomb worse than you've ever heard anybody bomb, to by the end of the set, the navigation he did to then get the crowd back and get the biggest applause of the night by the end of this fucking tirade is watching like a master practice his craft at the highest form. It really is incredible. But in the midst of this tirade, he fucking starts going against the Philadelphia sports, and he talks about how the most successful and like the most famous Philadelphia fucking sports icon is some made up bullshit named Rocky, because all the teams fucking suck. He's like, your best fucking guy isn't even fucking real, and he just Bill Burrs it the whole time. It's so fucking funny. It's unbelievable, and it's true.
It's
fucking
damn true.
It's.
Well, could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
It could be Alabama, but like, you know, right outside of Philadelphia is Pennsylvania. It gets real fucking weird real quick. I could say this because I work there, so, you know. Anyway.
No, there's weird shit up there. I've been up that way. Anywhere outside of Philly, it's a weird land out there.
Any state where it's like, yeah, it's cool, Amish people. We'll just fucking pretend that we don't know what the fuck's going on. We're just going to turn a blind eye to all of that shit. Fuck you. There's some weird there.
All right, well, I'll kick things off, but I didn't do much. I beat another dungeon in Zelda. I think I think things are about to open up, right? I beat the first initial 3 dungeons. The water dungeon was pretty cool. I'm still having a blast with it. I've barely been able to play it because I've been so busy, but Zelda continues to be wonderful. The Atari VCS got a firmware update that allows you to put more icons on a single screen, your home screen. I didn't get to mess with it much, but that's pretty cool. And I played a game called Famidash, Famadash is an NES demake of Geometry Dash, and John's been obsessed with Geometry Dash for ages. Not as much as he's been obsessing over the FNF. Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
So much.
We gotta talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, but not actual Friday Night Funkin'. It's this
just videos about it.
FNF. Yeah. No, he's playing the game.
No,
on his school computer.
I know what mod you're talking about. There's a huge following for that.
Like versus Bambi or some nonsense like
that's
that.
Fun.
And I talked about this a while back with the music. It sounds like a fucking modem. It sounds like a modem being run through a cheese grater. It is. I will stomach whatever bad music my kids need to listen to, right? Because I listen to video game music. Nobody wants to listen to what I listen to, and that's fine. But I cannot take this. I cannot take it. It is the most stressful, horrid stuff I've ever heard in my life because it's just noise. And I know, like, you hear older people being like, "Oh, that hip hop, that rap, it's just noise." Like, no, it's not. It may sound like it to you, but there's musical elements there. This is literally just noise. It is someone made this to be as random and sporadic as possible so that it's impossible to play.
Yeah.
But you can also beat it by literally just mashing the buttons as fast as you can because it doesn't penalize you for pressing the wrong buttons. So as long as you're pressing all 4 buttons as fast as possible, you can survive and get through the game and I guess feel like you're doing really well. But here's where shit gets even worse. Besides the fact that he asked me to get him this music so we can play it on the iPod, and we're listening to it at 7 o'clock in the goddamn morning over breakfast. This horrible...
You should have said no.
Yeah. There's some things you can say no to, but
there's some things I should say no to, and that was one of them. But no, it makes him extremely happy to listen to this music. But it's gotten to the point that he sings along to it.
Oh,
ew!
So he's like twitching and vibrating and shaking his voice to sound like a modem, like
nope.
And I'm like, and he's doing this
all of that
in public. He's doing this like next to me, like we were at Allie's Powder Puff game, and he's just sitting there in the stands, like shaking and convulsing and he's actually singing the random sound effects that are garbled together in this fucking atrocious, god-awful...
Boy, stop being the 56K modem. It's too early.
I took some video of it earlier.
Get straight fucked. Just not even a little bit.
I couldn't even... It's one of those things that's hard to actually describe.
Yeah.
And the last time I talked about this on the show, this was before he had gotten to the point where he had listened to the song so many times, he had memorized the sounds and started emulating them. I played a piece of the song that he had been listening to on the podcast. I edited that piece of the song into the show so that our listeners could hear it. And
I totally listened to that.
One of our listeners reached out and said, "Oh my God, that's the worst thing I've ever heard." Because it is legitimately horrid, and he fucking loves it. And I can't take away something that brings him so much joy because it is harmless outside of the fact that he needs to stop doing that. He needs to stop emulating that outside because it looks like he needs to be locked up in a home. Like he needs to be put away because nobody who is out in public making those noises
right?
That's really, really not okay. And I keep trying to convince him, like, okay, buddy, I know you love this, and I know you think it's really cool, but you look like a crazy person. You sound like a crazy person, and I'm going to jam pencils in my ears. I am going to sacrifice my hearing for the rest of my life so I never have to hear this fucking garbage again.
I know you didn't
maybe
say
just
that,
play
but
this
I just
episode of the
imagine
podcast in a week.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Oh.
I'm swallowed. Like, look, Ellie listens to some god awful pop music. Like, I think Lizzo might be one of the worst artists in the history of mankind. I fucking hate that woman's music. I hate it, but I will stomach it. This is the worst. This is the hard. All through them being infants and whatever, like, color songs they would listen to when they were babies, like any of that annoying stuff. This is worse than Caillou. This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
How old is
he now?
It
makes my
big.
teeth hurt. I'm sitting there during dinner and he puts this on and I'm just like, I have lost my appetite. I need to do literally anything but be here around this sound. It's so abrasive and I hate it so much. And it's just become a daily part of my life that is just when he's home.
Unacceptable.
And it's just misery.
Yeah.
But it makes him happy.
You got
nothing.
So what? So what?
Headphones,
because
man.
Nothing makes this kid happy. Nothing. John is such a fucking curmudgeon. So when there's something in this world that will bring him anything other than misery, I'm all for it. I will stomach this because that's the kind of dad I am. I will swallow this shit as long as I possibly can. Because if there's something that can bring that kid joy, then I want him to have it. But I also need him to stop doing it in public. So Famine Dash is pretty cool. When he was obsessed with Geometry Dash, that was fine. I'm cool with the Geometry Dash music. Like, it's pretty good stuff. Not when you hear the same 4 seconds of it over and 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 over as it continues to fail over and over and over and over and over. And when he listens to the music, he plays it like he's playing the game. He'll listen to the first 5 seconds and start it over again and start it over again. Like, he wants to listen to the game being played, like how the song sounds in the game, not the actual song. So, I never get to hear the ends of these songs. The Famine Dash is quite impressive, so it's got these, 8-bit demakes of not just the stages, but the songs. So, they sound really cool coming out of an NES. And I don't understand how NES Homebrew has gotten to where it is, because I load this into my EverDrive, and it says Geometry Dash, like that voice, Geometry Dash. It says that, but it doesn't sound like them saying I'm bad and bad dudes. It sounds crystal fucking clear, and I don't understand it. Like, how do you make an NES do that? That's wild to me. It's super cool. But that's pretty much all I've played this week. That is really cool. Except, I did another couple of rounds of Cash Cow because I didn't have enough time to do anything else. That was my problem. I actually tried to play Zelda twice this week, and both times I was so exhausted from the weight of life that I couldn't stay awake any longer, and I just went and passed out. This afternoon, I had actually caught up enough on work. I was like, you know what? I can actually stop for now. I can do other things. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play Zelda. And I got about 10 minutes in, and I was nodding off. I was like, I just need to crash. And I went upstairs and fell asleep for an hour because that's how fucking exhausted I am. But
that's how I've been this week. I've played fucking next to nothing because it just felt like shit all week. And they're to be fair, there were things to distract, like playoff baseball and, that kind of shit, and wrestling. But it's things that I could passively engage with, as opposed to I have to play this right now and put thought into it. Oh God, I can't.
And Zelda's really good. I want to be able to do it. I want to be able to do anything. I want to finish Gimmick, too. I'm sure I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but I 100%ed another level in Gimmick, and that was really fun. I eventually got to the point where I'd played through it a bunch of times. I have no idea where these hidden things are, so I looked them up online, and they're just, wow, I never would have found that. Or it was either that, or I looked at it and be like, how the hell did I miss that? That is so obvious.
Yeah.
That game continues to be an absolute joy. I wrote 2 reviews for it this week. I had to write a review for it for Nintendo Force, but I also had decided that I wanted to write a review for it for Stone Age Gamer. So I'm not going to just copy and paste my work because I'm getting paid to do it in 2 different places. So I wrote the review earlier in the week, and then I waited a couple days, and I just wrote a new one. I'm just going to forget everything that I wrote in that one and just start again. And I just attacked it from a different angle. And that was a fun little writing experiment. It's been fun trying to figure out how to do different things to exercise myself and my writing abilities. And writing 2 completely different reviews for the same game was a fun experiment. And I still am hoping that I get the review for Hatch Tales, because I really, really, really want to take a stab. I mean, I'm going to do it for the website regardless, but if I do it for Stone Age Gamer, I can be as biased as I want on Stone Age Gamer, whereas I feel like for Nintendo Force, I really have to attack that objectively. But, I mean, I'm going to get the game, fucking maybe, if it ever comes out. What's the current release date for this thing? I don't know.
Yesterday, you missed it.
5th of
No, I missed
February.
it again. Oh, let's see. Let's check the old Discord. What's the Discord saying these days?
It's the 37th of February.
Let's see. I don't want to log in to my Kickstarter. That's a whole other story. Why? I cannot figure out this stupid thing here. Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah, things and stuff. Somebody else talk.
Go ahead, Dean. You always play fucking interesting shit.
Yeah, I guess so. What did I play? So, where did I leave you guys?
Oh, it's coming out on Karen's birthday.
Oh, that's good. She'll love that.
I'll hold my breath.
All right, what did I do? Yeah, so I finished Steamworld Heist 2. It's good. It's great. It's everything I needed it to be. I love those games. I like that there's a cohesive timeline here that you maps everything out, and you can kind of like start at SteamWorld Dig 1, play the main games, and completely get a whole experience out of it through, I would imagine, like probably hundreds of years of time in between, but very cool game all the same. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I'll just mention again, it's kind of like a strategy game. It is on a 2D surface, and it is horizontal instead of top-down. So, if you can imagine that, it would kind of look something like, I guess, kind of like the graphics from Slay the Spire, just laid out differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Dan. Have you've never played SteamWorld Heist at all?
Not Heist. I love Dig. I love Dig 2.
So I mean,
wasn't interested in Heist. I don't really have a great reason why.
So it's the same art style. The art style has not changed. It's just literally like they made it into a tactical shooter, essentially. It's great. The first one is definitely a lot more tied to the events of SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2, which makes sense, because if you play the end of SteamWorld 2, there's a very big event that changes everything about that universe. So anything after that is a big deal. And SteamWorld Heist does a very good job of explaining what indeed happens after that point. Maybe not so much through the characters of SteamWorld Dig, but with new characters, and I assure you, those motherfuckers do make cameos, and they are great. What else did I do? I don't know if I'm going to complete it, because while I did get most of the stuff done, the things that they're now asking me to do would require a separate playthrough. One of them being you have to beat it in like a certain amount of time, which wouldn't be super difficult, but combine that with the fact that you have to also like get through the game with 4 deaths or less could kind of muddy that. But from a standpoint of completing the entire game from a content standpoint, I did do every single mission. I got every single item. The only thing I didn't do, which there's an achievement for, was get all the hats in the game, which are just cosmetic, and I didn't feel the need to do, even though some of them are very funny. But yeah, I did get all the content out of the game, and it's great. I've spoken very high praises on it already, so I'm not going to go back into it. If you thought you'd like it from what I said the first time, this is my stamp of approval on it. I beat it. It's done. I would definitely look into it. I spent about 40 hours playing it, and I might have left
Holy shit.
I might have left my Xbox on like one day at one point, but even so, that would have only been 5 hours. It's definitely a 25, 30-hour game for sure. There's plenty to do. There's plenty to explore. Lots of colorful characters to meet, from the ones that are on your crew to the ones that are just NPCs in the world. It's all good stuff. What else did I do? I got a new game. It is called Flowstone Saga. I believe I mentioned it to you very briefly, Dan.
You said I need to get it, and then I looked at it and I was like, that looks fucking dope. I have 50-something games on my Steam Deck library already, though.
No, I get it. So essentially, it's what if you mixed an RPG with Tetris. I will say that it's pretty much just like not like Tetris Battle, because there's not two fields of play going on. There's just your field versus these monsters that are on the screen, almost like you're watching like Final Fantasy IV with on one side, and then literally your characters are just a Tetris board or character. You score moves and like damage by doing combos and stuff. It definitely plays different than Tetris because and I don't know if this is the right way to play Tetris. This is just the way I play Tetris. Is you build a well, and typically, you drop that one big straight piece down to complete the well to get your big Tetris. And then, you kind of just mitigate in between to try and keep building that well. This game doesn't really work like that. You're just trying to clear as fast as possible. You can get combos through doing like big, well breakers and stuff, but you're going to take a lot of damage in the meantime. It seems like the most important thing is to try and make smaller combos and chain them together. It's been really interesting to kind of rework the way I play Tetris for that, because it's just very different. The battling isn't the only sort of Tetris stuff in the game as well. There's also some mini games where you're required to like solve very simple puzzles. And it's great. Like, it's very passive stuff, but it's all great as like kind of you're just exploring the overworld in each map. The only thing that like is really a downside about it is the actual RPG stuff to it. I feel that a lot of it, and not all of it, but a lot of it, is kind of just secondary to the actual Tetris gameplay, because short of like, you have all these options. You have these weird spirit frogs that you can pick that like give you extra abilities. You can pick out different pieces to use with them and stuff. You can get separate powers that you can upgrade and everything. You can put points into them. You have like attack stats, defense stats, health, all this really intense stuff. And it all comes down to meaning literally nothing. I have not changed it once since I started the game. It's made zero difference. I've looked at some of the other abilities, and while they seem cool, it doesn't necessarily seem like they would do anything to change the way I would be like engaging with the gameplay. It's not going to like rework how I play Tetris again. It would just be kind of like, some of them are as simple as you clear a line, it adds a more powerful piece in. Some of them are, you spawn these crazy fire blocks that do DOT damage over time. But again, it just all seems irrelevant because, again, I'm not trying to toot my own Tetris playing ability, but every time I have it on not the hardest difficulty, but the second to hardest, because it said specifically, if you've never played a game like this, which I've certainly never played a game like this before, I don't think one's fucking existed.
I was going to say, I don't think RPG Tetris exists yet.
Right. So, I chose like not the hardest, but I was like, all right, let me see how hard this is, and I can always restart it. I've had no problems whatsoever. And again, I'd like to hope that even though I've put like 20 hours into this game, and I feel like it's probably coming to a close soon, there's some surprises left that might force me to use these other mechanics, because otherwise, while they're great and like it's content that you can check out, it's passive content. Like, if there's no reason to check it out, most people aren't probably going to do it. So with that being said, I do feel that there's a lot to explore here, and I think it's less than $20. There's $20 worth of fucking content in that game.
It's 18 right now.
Yeah.
I just brought it up to look at it again.
Yeah, so whether you see it all or not is completely up to you, but there is plenty to do. There's like a Dark Cloud aspect to it where like you're building the town with your powers, so you're using like your Tetris building abilities to like solve these simple puzzles to build new buildings for the people. They unlock certain stuff. They help with the relationships you're trying to build. there's a lot happening all at once, but it does make for a pretty cohesive game. I don't think that the story is anything to write home about, but it's definitely serviceable, like JRPG fare, to say the least. I think the writing's a little better than that, to be sure, but like it's nothing that I'd be like, God damn, this is the next masterpiece that's going to be Game of the Year. It's not that, but it's good for sure. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Yeah, it looks super fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
I do really want to check that gimmick, right, of JRPG battle system is Tetris. Like, all right, I'm in. Like, that was pretty good.
Now,
you got me.
Have you seen Pinball Spire?
No.
Look it up. I don't know a lot about it, but I want it. It's like an adventure pinball game. It looks insane. It's got a retro look to it. It just came out, I want to say, this week. But essentially it's like a roguelike adventure pinball game put together.
Is it like Yoku's Island Express?
Yes, it's kind of like that, but more roguelike stuff. Because with Yoku, like, there was a little bit of exploring and walking around. That's all
like
gone.
A pinball Metroidvania.
Yes, that's exactly what this is. But they took out most of the exploring. It's just a lot of action, really. It looks awesome. This is this is probably the next game I'm gonna buy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just trying to go through a couple things, and
just added it to my wish list.
There you go. Yeah, it looks incredible. It looks fucking incredible.
That looks really neat.
Have you played Pong Quest?
Pong Quest? No. What?
Pong Quest is a Pong RPG.
Stop! Oh, this looks cool.
Yeah, they didn't
silly.
bury the lead on that one, Dean.
Yeah, I played through that. I think last year, or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. I played through that. Like, it's not like, oh my god, amazing, but it is genuinely funny. The soundtrack is great, and so basically, like, all the battles are just games of Pong, except you get all these different abilities, like you can build a wall of breakout blocks in front of your screen or the opponent's screen, or create black holes all over the place, or make the ball warp from one side to the other. Like, there's all these really neat power-ups that you can get while you're playing the Pong games. I thought it was great. It's got its fairly decent multiplayer too. We've played it here, like me and the kids have played it together. But yeah, playing through the quest, like, again, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the single greatest thing that's ever happened. But I genuinely had a good time with it. It's a clever game. The writing's good. It's good stuff.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out. That looks really cool. I just took a look on Steam real quick, and it's awesome. There was one other game I've been chipping away at, and I really need to get done with it because it's slowly killing me. I consider myself a conqueror of most Survivor games. I've completed Vampire Survivors. I completed 20 Minutes Till Dawn. I completed Bounty of One. There's a bunch of others I've completed.
Brotato.
I haven't done Brotato yet, just because there's so many achievements. That's definitely like another 80, 100-hour game I don't have the time for right now. What I have been working on is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, and that game has put me through my fucking paces, because I did complete it at one point. It was done, but they didn't update, and it completely reworked the entire game. It went from just like a Survivors game with Deep Rock Galactic theming to actually being like a challenging fucking Survivor game. I've gotten to the point where there's 5 achievements left, 4 of them being incredibly difficult because it's to beat each level at its hardest difficulty, and the only way to make yourself stronger at this point, or at my point, because you can like upgrade stuff throughout like the game as you're getting more points, very much like Vampire Survivors. You can kind of spend gold to boost your stats, but they only really go so far in this game, and it's never to the point where you feel like out of control powerful. I've not gotten to that point yet, and I've put 90 hours into this game, and these last 5 achievements are going to fucking kill me. I get so close every single time on every single level to just about like beating it, and then something goes wrong. And I'm not gonna lie, some things are in real life. Like I have these 2 dogs. I love them to death, but they're Velcro dogs, and they need to be on top of me. And
they're monsters.
Yeah, sometimes my lovely little boy Bernie is a giant piece of shit. Like today, I was at the very end, and when you get to the end of like these levels, it's very much like Vampire Survivors. There's shit coming at you from everywhere. But the problem is my weapons don't... Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's terrible. But the problem is your weapons never feel like they're doing nearly enough. Like, it's typically enough where you can kind of run and gun, but I've never felt safe to the point where I can just stop moving and watch what's happening and maybe, like, just adjust my position every now and again. No, I am in a full panic every time I fucking get to the end of one of these levels. I'm sweating, my jaw's clenched, and I just keep fucking dying. And the problem is that you can upgrade the weapons and like ways to get more EXP, Jesus, experience too, through like doing little side missions, but the side missions are just as fucking hard as the end missions. So I feel like I'm in this very like cyclical moment of just like, no matter what I do, I've hit this wall, and all right, like I can go try and upgrade stuff, but I die. Well, let me just try doing the fucking main mission again. Well, I die, and I'm like, am I just not good enough anymore? And I every few hours I convince myself that is false. I am better than this goddamn game, and I'm going to eventually do this. And then I die a few more times and I turn it back off. So that's been my time with this game. I, honest to God, like those games I've put so much time into, and some of them have been $5, $3. I played Space Marine 2 for 30 hours. That was a $70 game. Fucking Vampire Survivors.
That's impressive.
Vampire Survivors is $5. I've put 120 hours into that game. 120. It's a big return on investment there. So yeah, like
I have no idea how much time I've put into the Vampire Survivors, but it's probably around that.
Oh, I'm sure it's an unhealthy amount because like you can. It's just one of those things you can just kind of keep on, relax.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Just fun. It's I find it very soothing. It's just one of the best games I've ever played. And there's a bunch of, and I haven't played it in a while, so which means the next time I get into it, there's going to be a bunch of new content for me to jump into, which is
that's awesome.
Great because they just keep adding to that game.
Yeah, they do. I just finished everything up from the Dark Casso update. I think the last time I was on, and that was all great stuff. Speaking of Space Marine 2, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that game is fucking awesome. It basically plays like a giant action movie. The amount of enemies that come on screen, the amount of detail, the characters, the amount of like insanity that's happening, next level stuff. I don't think there are many. I guess this is a AAA game. I would say there aren't many AAA games that really do sci-fi this sort of justice, and it's probably because Warhammer has such a big already, like, you know, pre-existing universe. Like there's 30-40 years of written bullshit that you can base your stuff on, whereas with like, you know, Halo and Gears of War, you kind of coming up with it on the go. But like, god damn, like there were multiple points where I like hell yeah brothered at the screen because like it was just one of those amazing crazy like moments. It's not a super long game. There's probably, I don't know, I did other stuff, so that's why it was 30 hours worth for me, but I'd say the story's maybe 10-15 hours. There's great multiplayer stuff to it. There's obviously competitive bullshit, but that's not the reason you go in. There's some really cool co-op stuff that kind of plays out like Helldivers. So if you like that sort of stuff, check it out. It is $70. It's high-end graphics, all that sort of shit. So you got to know what you're getting into. But I love Warhammer. I love all that stuff. I do believe it was still worth it, even though it was $70 and I just complained about it. It's still great. It's like I said, it's like a big movie. If you love that sort of like sci-fi stuff, this is right up your alley. You also don't really need to play the first one to play this one. It's not its own. It follows the same character, but I would say that whatever details happen in the first story are not negligible, but it's not pertinent to what's happening right here, right now. So, yeah, that's pretty much been what I've been doing. A lot of video games, a lot of just getting them achievements, getting them chivos. So yeah, it's been great.
Is that what the kids call them these days?
That's what I call them. And if the kids call them that, then yes.
Fucking chivos.
Sound delicious.
Oh,
all
shit.
right, Dan, what have you been playing? Did you already go over that? I feel like we've been here.
Yeah, I already said
we've been here for
fucking
hours.
Nothing. I've played stuff.
You played Snuff? Dan, who did you murder?
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Jesus.
Played some more UFO 50. That game is just still endlessly surprising. I'm starting to see shit about a mystery like 51st game that there's stuff like you could access. I have barely scratched. I'm finding out that I've barely scratched the surface of UFO 50. I'm playing through currently right now Night Manor, which is like this really fucking cool point and click style adventure on there. Tiff and I have been playing through that, and that's really fucking cool. And then like as far as other stuff, I've just been playing like some of the show this week, just because it's playoff baseball. So I'm like, I'm gonna play baseball too. And just because I can, again, kind of mindlessly work my way through that. I tried, so one of the cool things that you can do on Steam, and I'm gonna put pressure on Dean, to add me to his family, is when you can do family sharing on Steam. So everybody has been so fucking generous and like gifted me a ton of games and a ton of cash to get shit. And, like I was buying stuff for my kids back, before all this started. And I was like, if we just like set up a family thing, then you could just access all the games that everybody has. And you can put like up to 5 people in your family or whatever. It's like, that's really fucking cool and progressive and son of a bitch. Let's do that. So I put the kids on, which means I got all of their games as well. And I was like, you know what? It's time. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to fucking hook the Steam Deck up to the TV, putting it in the dock, and I'm going to play Pizza Tower. And I'm going to really put some time into it. And then my brain went, what the fuck are you trying to do right now? We are in no kind of state to do this shit.
So that game looks pretty intense.
Stop it. Oh, yeah, it is. And it's fucking awesome. And then I looked at my, because I wanted to be accurate before I said some shit. And when you look at your Steam library, you can order it by time played on games. And I put 9 minutes into Pizza Tower before I went, I'm out. I can't. I'm out. It's too much right now. It is just too fucking much. It is just too goddamn much right now. It's awesome. And like it looked pretty good up on the TV, like figuring out like the settings and all that. But I was like, I gotta run and jump and punch, do this, that. I was, nope, never mind. I'm going back to fucking point and click. That's the speed I'm at currently. Or baseball, because I know that I can pitch just fine. Fuck, man. So that's it. That's what I got.
That's lovely.
All right. Well, in that case, I think it's time for us to take our first commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer, and we'll go over some week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new on the official Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel.
First up, snakes. Snakes? Snakes! Oh, wait. Dude. Wrong snake. These snakes aren't highly trained spies. They're just fucking snakes. They like to eat balls. Yeah, you heard me. Snakes eating balls. Fucking Yambag Jones over here. A whole ass video game about snakes munching balls, gaining weight. Kind of sick fucking weirdos made a game like that. Well, I'll tell you who. It's the fucking British. Disgusting, fucking bad teeth having, bland food making fucking British cunts. And I can say that because they say that word all the time. It's not the same over there. They say cunt to their children.
Dan, we're doing a commercial.
Cunt. I know. Are we?
He's reading my words.
I am.
He's playing with them.
Anyway. I'll fucking play with your balls, Chris. Don't fucking threaten me with a good time.
All right.
What? How long have we been friends? It's kind of weird that I haven't at this point. If you know me, it's kind of weird that I haven't given you a little fucking how's your father. It's a little strange. Let's just see what you're working with. So what is this game? I want to know where I stand in the fucking relationship. From the nutcases at Rare, why is this game with this premise that I've very clearly elucidated for all of you so dang good? We'll find out. Stone Age Gamer Review, Snake Rattle and Roll. That's right. Read a review for a fucking Nintendo game 40 years ago.
Next up, I didn't sleep much last week. Why? Because I was working myself stupid making the next chapter in my Super Mario retrospective series. And oh boy, this was a fun one. Not only did I get to talk in detail about my precious Virtual Boy, but in this episode I covered Super Mario 64, a game that I love, even though I don't like it all that much. And also one of the best platformers anyone's ever made, Yoshi's Island. Enjoy the labor of my suffering with Stone Age Gamer Archaeology, Mario Brothers Retrospective, Into the Third Dimension.
It's another thing I did this week. I watched your fucking video. It was really fucking good. You should be very proud of it.
I am very proud of it. Thank you. I really enjoyed making this one. It
excellent.
Was stressful, but again, I was really proud of the way it came out.
Yeah, it's outstanding, and I'm not just saying that because I'm your friend. I would tell you if it fucking sucked balls. It does not.
I know you would. I'd like Snake Rattle and Roll.
Like Snake Rattle and Roll. I would tell you if it was just up there munching your fucking yam bag. Just getting all up in there.
I got some,
being like,
very, very
tastes
kind
like onions.
Comments on this
That's
one,
weird.
too. A couple of folks wrote some very nice things about it, and yeah, it brings me joy. It's not, again, it doesn't perform very well, because nothing I do performs very well. It's currently sitting at a whopping 273 views, but it's got 100% likes and a handful of comments, and
I think you should change the title of it. No, I think you should change the title to some rage-baity bullshit, and then just have the video play regular, but just have some fucking absurd rage-bait title and see if that helps. Like, or like upload a second copy.
So-and-so did.
Mario 64 goes woke?
Yeah, right? There you go. Done. A fucking billion views. People are like, oh no, it didn't. Son of a bee sting.
Brie Larson hates the Virtual Boy?
Fuck Sandra Oh? For no reason in particular? Just and then it's a video about Mario 64. Awesome.
Plus I got to share that footage
it's a good video, but nothing about Sandra Oh.
By that chunk in the middle there where I was talking about that footage from Planet Virtual Boy of I think it was CES, where they were showing off all those Virtual Boy games in that big room, and you got to see all the footage of that Super Mario VB game. Like, that looked really cool. It looks wild. Where the top-down segment where he falls in the hole, like, what was this game? What could this game have been? I'm so fast because you can tell it was made by the Wario team. Like, you can tell just by the way that Mario moves, completely unlike a regular Mario game. This is definitely done by the Wario team, and I really wanted to see where something like that went. But there was another thing I discovered while I was doing the research for this one that I had heard about before, and it was that Mario Clash... I don't know if this is the commercial break, but allow me a segue here. Mario Clash, being an evolution of Mario Brothers, there's a version that was just called VB Mario Brothers, not VB Mario Land, that just... There's screenshots of it in Electronic Gaming Monthly, so the folks at EGM actually got to play it at one of the trade shows. And it's just Mario Brothers on Virtual Boy. Like, I don't know what the extra hook was in it, but it's basically just regular Mario
just
Brothers.
Just a good game?
I'm pretty sure that evolved into Mario Clash. I would be so utterly fascinated to learn the actual history of, like, where did these games go in development? Because Nintendo clearly had plans for this system. And it's such a tragedy that everything on that system is just completely forgotten. Because there's so much potential for some really neat ideas for the games that landed on Virtual Boy. Then they don't need to be tied to the Virtual Boy, you know? Like, Virtual Boy Wario Land is just as good a game on a 2D TV as it is anywhere else. Like, I digress.
Finally.
What the hell are we talking about?
The Dreamcast, Chris. It's a game system. Right. You know it, I know it, and frankly, I'm tired of us fucking pretending like it isn't. It's just people all day come up to me, tears in their eyes, sir. They're saying to me, Dreamcast not a video game system. I'm like, what the fuck what are you talking? It's big, strong, sexy. They jump. It's very weird. And then their stocks go down on their fucking cars. I'm just saying, like, why are we fucking denying the Dreamcast's identity? It's not a thing we do anymore, because this is the Woke Age Gamer podcast. There we go. I just fucking found it. That's how that's the transition. It's the transition that we make, Chris. You and I are transitioning.
That's right. We are trans.
We're announcing it right here to the fucking world. Chris and I it's a joint transition inspired by the Dreamcast.
I'm going to identify as a Dreamcast for the rest of the show.
That's right. Going to identify as a VMU. Anyway, it's like, here's the thing. Like most game systems that launched before the year 2000, it had its controllers. The fucking wires, Chris. Wires. You plug them in. It's like a fucking baby's toy. You have to use your hands. It's like a baby's toy. What's more, the wires, weirdly, and this is actually really fucking weird, came out of the bottom of the controller, making it just a little bit more awkward than it needs to be. Like, you know what's cool? Wires that come out of the top. You know what sucks? Wires that you gotta bend a little bit and fucking get them going in the right direction. Let's go that way.
Clip them into the back of the controller.
Yeah, because why? The fucking... That's extra engineering, you fucking cunts. They're also British. They don't mind.
Famous Brits, Sega.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody knows that. The fucking company's right there in fucking Leicester, which may or may not be a place. That problem has been solved, Chris. Not whether or not Leicester is a place, but the fucking wires and the shit. Mostly, anyway. The RetroTime DC adapter allows you to connect modern wireless controllers to your Dreamcast console, like a Wavebird. How does it handle the VMU? It doesn't. Except it kind of does. And to find out what all of this means in our latest product review, find out what all this means in our latest product review, RetroTime DC Adapter Overview.
For all this and more, be sure to check in with our YouTube channel and follow us over at StoneAgeGamer.com.
If that doesn't sell more units, Chris, I don't know what's going to. I feel like I was very clear. I felt like I was very clear. Transitioning again, Woke Age Gamer. I used the fucking word elucidate after I did whatever the fuck I was doing in that first commercial. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
All right, everybody, we are back, and it is time to talk about what is new in the world of Stone Age Gamer. And the big news that hit this week was a couple of things from 8-Bit Mods. We started taking pre-orders for the NES Hub, which is an accessory that makes use of that expansion port on the bottom of the NES. Can you do expansion audio, handful of other things, which is utterly fascinating that it's taken this long for anybody to find any use for that expansion port, which is so crazy to me. But that's a thing.
Yeah.
There's also an adapter that 8-Bit Mods is putting out that uses this NES hub to allow you to use Super Nintendo controllers on your on your original NES. It's cool stuff. That was really the only major thing that went down at SAG this week, besides just work, and lots of prepping for our November sales. So, with that behind us, it is time for my favorite segment and your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. And let's start at the start. Destructoid.
It's a good place.
Yeah, Destructoid says, Golden Joystick Awards 2024 nominates Astrobot and Helldivers 2 for Console Game of the Year. Yes, the Golden Joystick Awards are a-comin'. And we've got some all the categories have been laid out. So let's see here. For Console Game of the Year, the nominees are Astrobot, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. PC Game of the Year, Animal Well, Balatro, Frostpunk 2, Satisfactory, Tactical Breach Wizards, and UFO 50. Let's see. I'm just going to skip ahead.
I gotta say, that's like a nice spread, and I'm having trouble choosing my favorite child out of those groups.
Yeah. Best indie game. We have Animal Well, Arco, Balatro, Beyond Galaxyland, Conscript, Indica, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Thank Goodness You're Here, The Plucky Squire, and Ultros. And let's see, there are other categories are Streamer's Choice, Breakthrough Award, Best Game Adaptation, and Critics' Choice Award. So yeah,
cool.
Who does the Golden Joysticks?
Fucking pales in comparison to a Golden K-Man, I'll tell you that much for free.
Nah, seriously. You got nothing on those on our JGLDs.
That's right.
Let's see. Why can't I find this information? Golden Joystick Awards. I still get 42nd annual Golden Joystick. Jesus, 42nd annual Golden Joystick. Wow.
Holy
shit! Been doing this for a long time. Yeah, there's a ton of categories. Best storytelling, multiplayer, visual design, indie game, self-published indie game. Still Playing Award for PC and console, Still Playing Award for mobile, Studio of the Year, Best Game Expansion, Best Audio Design, Best Soundtrack. Wow, nice. They separated audio design and soundtrack. Those are new categories this year. Lead Performer, Supporting Performer, PC Game of the Year, Console Game of the Year, Best Early Access. It looks like they just split PC and console this year. That's interesting. Best Early Access Game, Best Gaming Hardware. Clearly that's going to be Alarmo. We'll talk about that in a bit. Best Game Trailer, and Most Wanted Game. The GJAs are held in special regard because they are voted for by those who buy and play games. Every year, millions of fans support their favorite games, developers, publishers in the last 12 months. Now in its 42nd year, the Golden Joystick Awards will be returning as an in-person live show at the De Vere Connaught Rooms in London on November 21st. Look at that.
It's hard to say who owns it. It just says that it started in Britain. It's been going for a very long time. They use Games Radar for people to vote now globally. So I guess that's how you guys would vote. Games Radar Plus, it sounds like, if you want to take a stab at trying to throw your vote that way. There's not much more information.
Run by a bunch of cunts.
There you go. Love that word, Dan. Love that for you. That console category is interesting. I'm not sure who's gonna win. I don't think it deserves to be Helldivers, but I don't know who else. Like, maybe is Zelda that good? Could it clinch Game of the Year?
I mean, I'm not far enough into it to say for sure. I mean, I have to assume it's going to be Astrobot just because of
that's been huge,
the general vibe.
Yeah,
that feels the way it's going.
I really
it does
buy
feel
that,
the way
man.
it's going. It does. I've seen a lot of folks saying that like the best bits of Astrobot are like, yeah, this is really good. It's Mario Galaxy, which was also very good. Like,
yeah,
I understand that a lot of PlayStation players never played Mario Galaxy, but this is why we like that game. But that doesn't make it any less good, you know? So
yeah, this can be their Mario Galaxy. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But I really don't know where it's going to land. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I've heard really mixed feelings on that one. So I guess I was kind of surprised to see it listed here because, like, I kind of felt like there was a lot of folks who were like, man, fuck this. And then there were other people who were like, this shit's amazing. So I don't know. I would be happy with Astrobot. Just if only for the fact that it might remind Sony that they don't have to just make the same, like, 5 games. Like, they don't just, you don't just have to make these games and then remake them 3 years later. You can be super creative, and it doesn't have to be photorealistic. You can just be expressive and fun. Because you used to be really fucking good at that. You really did. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we also have the real Game Awards. I mentioned this on the show before. This is good old Stuttering Craig from the Screw Attack back in the day, who has become quite the right-wing nut job. And he and his ilk have put together the real Game Awards, which, the non-woke Game Awards, as it were.
Oh, can I read the description when you're done? I'm on their website. Sure. Go ahead, please.
This popped back up because they announced their categories, and it kind of made me slightly nauseous. Because I remember some of these categories from like 20 years ago, and I feel like we as a species should have come a bit farther than the point and laugh thing. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be making such a big deal out of the pointing and laugh at things that are necessarily bad. So the categories that were announced are biggest industry failure, best PlayStation IP, best Microsoft IP, best Nintendo IP, Game of the Year, shitty-ass Game of the Year. And that's specifically what I remember from Screw Attack, is the shitty-ass Game of the Year awards. Like, yeah, I remember when over-exaggeratedly making fun of games that people made was a thing. But that was kind of before Steam and the mobile market, you know? I guarantee you whatever they're nominating for shitty-ass Game of the Year is not the worst game released in this year, because there have been 95 clocks released on the Switch eShop this year. Like, the bar for shitty games is not very like, low. I hate this game because it's woke. No. The shitty games are like the 95 asset flips that literally do nothing. Like,
yeah.
It's category for best jiggle physics, worst bait and switch, best FPS, best third-person shooter, best fighting game, waifu of the year, best company, husbando of the year, best video game journalist, worst video game journalist.
Oh, I know Alyssa Mercante's winning that one.
Yeah, without a doubt. Best sports game. That's, like, seriously, that's the entire purpose of that category. It was just to attack that woman. Best sports game, best RPG, best racing game, best story, best MMO, best multiplayer experience, best early access game, biggest cash grab, and best value. There's just such an astounding amount of negativity in here for something that's supposed to be... I thought the point was to celebrate the game industry, not...
Well, I mean...
That's not the grift.
So, yeah.
That's the grift.
Is outrage.
Because, yes, you do need to pay to be involved in this.
Yeah, because
of course you do.
Yeah, well, so just to vote, you need to pay $15 up front. No, I'm sorry. Actually, to vote, you need to pay $30 up front. For $15, you just get to contribute ideas. If you want to go to the show, it's $150. And, of course, you got that 1337 sponsorship, because when was the last time you heard anyone use that fucking number?
Just now.
Yep.
Just fucking now.
So you could pay him $1,337 where you can suggest, nominate, vote, and you are listed as a sponsor of the future event. Because listen, if you followed my career, you know that I'm a big doer, and sometimes I just hop in the boat without knowing exactly where it's going. With that said, yes, this website is not great, but it's a starting point. This website is a starting point. It will improve. This is all an idea, but we have to start doing instead of talking. Otherwise, nothing will happen. That's there. He said that. Whatever the fuck that.
His mom's a big doer. Sorry.
Yeah, this is stupid. This whole thing's stupid.
Fuck that shit.
I'm just so this rage grifting has just been it's been difficult to watch. Like, okay, I understand.
It sucks.
You think you want to make the industry better? Having a shitty ass Game of the Year award, how is that making things better? Like,
because
to be fair, we've done shit like that.
Great. But we've done it in a funny, satirical way. He's doing it in a way more serious way. It's not as satirical, even if he thinks it is. I don't think it is, because you're charging people. We never fucking charged anyone for anything.
Oh, I do.
That's on your side, on your OF. That's not for us, Dan.
You don't get a lot of this shit for free. I mean, not anymore anyway.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not saying don't be critical. I'm definitely not saying don't be critical.
No.
Like, if there's a game that, like, you know, I went our Game of the Year award things where we make our own damn categories. I wanted to talk about the way the ending of Monkey Island. Like, that was, you know, the ending ruined that game for me and damn near ruined the whole series for me. Like, that made me genuinely mad. But that's how I explained it. This is a thing that I understand its artistic integrity. I'm not calling you a woke piece of trash garbage. I'm saying I didn't like this thing. That's different from saying... But aren't you, though?
Aren't you?
I'm going to give out an official award for you being bad. Like... Yeah. Okay, but like... Yeah, Concord probably sucked, but you know what? There were people who put a lot of effort into that. Do you really need to rub salt?
I'm sure there were
like
people that
like,
liked it.
I'm sure there were. I don't know. It makes me sad, and it feels like we should be farther. Like, I don't look back on a lot of that, like the Sean Baby things, like in the early days of Angry Video Game Nerd. Like, that stuff is so very satire. You know what I mean? Like, you know, James Rolfe doesn't think that the people who made Castlevania should die in a fire, but like, this is coming from this place of hate that all this Gamergate 2.0 stuff is so difficult to know exists, that there are people that are like, there are people that are very intentionally not playing the new Silent Hill 2 because of that stupid DEI detected thing. Like, some consulting agency
what the fuck is
doesn't even fucking look that way.
At some point, it doesn't even work that way, but there was some consulting agency that was listed in the credits for that game, and there's just this mountain of people online like, well, good, now I saved my money, I'm not going to have to play that woke trash. It's like, well, you're fucking missing out, because apparently this remake is really, really good. And there's a segment of folks out there that are completely unwilling to give it a chance. Because, well, Bloober Team didn't do a great job in the past. Like, okay, well, you know what was great? Metroid Dread. You know what wasn't so great? The Lords of Shadow 2D game. Like, it was cool, but we were getting there.
Learned.
They learned.
Well, yeah.
It got
what is
better.
This, learning?
Apparently, this Bloober Team that didn't do great things before was able to pull off a great and respectful remake of Silent Hill 2. And you know what what all the grifters are complaining about? The rape victim in Silent Hill 2 isn't fucking pretty enough.
Oh my god. Yeah. Wait, so what is this DEI thing? Because apparently on the board of whatever the fuck of trustees, there's a guy who is part of the movement or whatever, and like the DEI detected websites on here and shit. That, like, I've never even fucking heard of this.
It's better that you haven't, honestly.
We're getting on way too off of a tangent. I apologize. This is just a lot of information all at once in front of me.
There are apparently consulting agencies out there that help make it so that games that want to be inclusive are done properly. You know, like, if you want to be inclusive of, like, putting Native Americans, that you're not doing it in a disrespectful way, and they will hire a firm or people to, like, make sure you're doing that kind of thing right. Which is apparently the worst thing that you can do. You're talking to people who
know. Yeah.
Yes.
People who know, because DEI is diversity and equity inclusion, which means immigrants, and that is the boogeyman currently.
So, like, if people want, that doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, what
it doesn't.
World are we
as a point of fact, it makes literally no sense.
I feel like we're right back to where we were before the break. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's enough
let's
for one
move
day.
on. Let us move on to Pure Xbox reports Halo enters new dawn with new studio name, engine, and games. So 343 Studios is rebranding itself as Halo Studios, and they're expanding the franchise. And this is interesting. So they're moving Halo development to Unreal 5, and they've got new projects in the works. And what I find interesting about this, besides not to jump back into what we were just talking about, but apparently Master Chief's new render is too curvy, and now his design is trans. Apparently, I
just refuse to believe these people are actually real. I don't. It can't be fucking real at this point. It can't be.
It was all good news until the head of the studio. There was a picture of the head of the studio, which just happened to be a black woman who has like red dyed hair, and then it was all over. Then it was all over. Like, oh no,
Jesus Christ!
Halo Chief's gonna be a lady now. Everything's gonna be woke. DEI, boogeyman, blah 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 blah. Oh my god! All right, but the thing that I thought was actually more interesting. That's just nonsense garbage that's out there, but there was some consensus out there that Microsoft should let Halo end. And I thought that was an interesting thought. Like, because they were talking about, like, they told their story. Like, okay, it's done. Like, Halo can be over. It's okay. Yeah. Like, not every franchise needs to just go on for infinity. Like, at a certain point, you can just let it end. And I thought that was an interesting thought, because, like, as somebody in the
Sony
Nintendo
is
ecosystem,
great at it.
Yes, Sony is possibly too
they
good at
fucking
it.
kill it.
It's like I'm in the Nintendo ecosystem where they don't put a lot of focus on narrative in the games. Like, there's not this, like, they're not telling this one cohesive story all that often. Like, I mean, God, look at The Legend of Zelda. Shit doesn't make any sense. Or the Mario games. Like, that's not really their thing. So, but the games, their franchises lasting forever, like, you can just continuously make new versions of things. It doesn't really spoil anything. Except for, like, you look at Mother 3, for example. Like, I've never played it, but it's my understanding that Mother 3 was like, this is the end of that. We're not making any more games because I've said everything that I want to say. The game's creator has said everything that they want to say, and therefore it's over. Okay, neat. It never really occurred to me that would be the case with Halo, but I think, because it's my understanding, again, I'm not really in on this, that the Halo franchise hasn't really seen an overwhelmingly loved entry in quite some time.
Infinite was, from what I understand, just like a big multiplayer thing for a while, and anything before that, when was Halo 5?
Yeah, I feel like
Xbox One?
Infinite was like one of the more liked ones recently, and even that was really divisive.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe, but I mean, they're clearly they're not. They're investing a whole lot into expanding this even more, and it's interesting because it kind of reminds me of Star Wars in a way. Like, there's been so much great Star Wars content, but at the same time, there's also been a lot of Star Wars content out there. And like, when I was growing up, part of the mystique of Star Wars was that there was so little of it outside of like the completely weird Wild West of the expanded universe. So I don't know. Sometimes it might just be okay to let things end.
I agree. I mean,
yeah.
You know, especially because I feel like we've had a few stabs at like Halo in other media too, and it hasn't necessarily worked. Like, that show wasn't great. The last few games haven't been like a super big spark. Halo can go on, but it just doesn't. Maybe it shouldn't be the Master Chief. Maybe we can just do something completely different in a different vein. It could have different characters and stuff. And like, they've tried. Didn't they do that RTS like years and years ago?
Yeah. The Halo Wars.
Yeah, and I don't remember that being terrible. And I think that's why something like Warhammer 40K does so well, is because, especially for video games, they do not stick to one genre. You know, they've had a Diablo type game. Their shooter is huge on all the major consoles right now. Before any of this stuff, there was Dawn of War, which was a giant RTS. They have if you like Civilization, they have a 4X game that mirrors that kind of. They have a space game. They even have God, what was that game on the Xbox, the flying game? Crimson Skies? I think that was it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know Dan loves that game, yeah.
Crimson Skies is fucking incredible.
They have a game like that, but it features the orcs from the game. So it's just that with like crazy orc nonsense, and I want to play it so fucking bad. I guess what I'm trying to get at is like there's room to spread out and try other things, and companies have definitely done that to a lot of success. And I mean, we were talking about one before, Thunderful Games that does all the Steamworld stuff. Almost none of those games are the same, but they're all great in different ways. So I mean, why not just try something else? Not everything has to be a fucking shooter revolving around the 8-foot space sergeant master chief guy. John Spartan.
Yeah, or, if you're going to continue the franchise, reinvent it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Or just
let
focusing
just let it breathe.
Yeah,
this is shit that happens like in wrestling all the fucking time, and I'm thinking about it because as you're saying it, like Chris Jericho has a match on the pay-per-view tomorrow. Ugh. I have right. Dean just went ugh. Chris Jericho. Taking aside the person, like the character Chris Jericho is one of, if not the greatest wrestler of all time. And
he's up there, yeah.
There is an argument to be made that he is number one. At the very least, he is in the top 5. The person, Chris Irvin, is not somebody I would like or support or be friends with. The character Chris Jericho is just incredible. And has been for a very, very long time. However, I just cannot stress how much I don't want to see Chris Jericho on my fucking television ever again at this point.
The definition of beating a dead horse. Like, the definition of it.
Because he's been wrestling for 30-something years, and he barely takes a break.
Almost nonstop.
You don't ever let me miss you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Halo did the same shit. Like these annualized franchises, Assassin's Creed, where they're apparently making they want to release 17 games in the next 4 minutes or some bullshit or whatever the fuck the headline was. Like, let me miss you a little bit. Don't be like Sony, where I'm missing you forever because you're just like, Jack and Daxter. Nah, fuck it. You get Ratchet and Clank. Shut up. We're not doing the Jack and Daxter one anymore, though. Don't be like that, but let it fucking breathe a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. I think
and get Chris Jericho off my TV.
Well, the thing is, I think that used to be their mascot, and I think it's just a hard fact to take that he's not anymore. Like and it's not viable for them to keep pushing him in that form factor as that because it's diminished so much that they're rebranding everything. So hopefully we get enough time going away and we get something.
Halo Infinite was a little bit ago. I don't think they're oversaturating Halo currently. There hasn't been a ton of Halo games in the last 5 or 6 years.
I think the genre as a whole has cooled too, because a big thing for Halo was competitive multiplayer, and that sort of team deathmatch thing has taken a backseat to all of the other online phenomena that has come to be. Especially that being said, Call of Duty is a much more popular shooter than Halo.
It's interesting that you bring that up because another news story I didn't actually put in here, but one that I kept seeing a headline for was they're adding a third-person mode to Halo Infinite's online play.
Whoa.
Which is
Fortnite.
Unquestionably a reaction to Fortnite. Which, seriously, look, Halo Master Chief is a pretty generic character design, but he's certainly not in... he's not a bad character design, so having cool character designs and having cool character designs in first-person games is always one of those things that's struck me as weird. Like
the other person,
the same thing goes in Metroid Prime. Like, of course, it makes sense because it makes sense as a first-person game, but at the same token, like, you're missing out on seeing your cool-ass character design.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. We've got a lot to cover, and it's already getting pretty late. Time Extension reports history has just been made on NES Tetris. I feel like every couple of weeks we're seeing new historical things happening in NES Tetris. Like, we're just having breakthrough after breakthrough after people discovered the whole rolling technique. So 35 years after its release, Dog Playing Tetris is the name of the player, just became the first person to get the NES Tetris Rebirth. He made it all the way to level 255, then the game wrapped around and restarted from level 0. I didn't even know the game could do that. Actually, technically it can't. It was done on a modified version of the game that prevents it from crashing. And if it prevents it from crashing, it loops back around to 0.
Wow.
The kid's finally done it.
I cannot imagine being that good at fucking Tetris, and I'm good at Tetris.
Me neither. I'm pretty decent at Tetris, but like, I can't think that fast. Like, well, I mean, it's a young man's game. They're young people who are doing all these things, and it's friggin' crazy to me. I love that it's a thing. I love that there's enough of a community for this NES version of Tetris for this to still be happening. And it's also funny to me that it's the NES version specifically and not the Game Boy version that was like the popular one, because the NES one was where I got my start. And
it has something to do with like
I love that version.
how it runs. It just runs better, right?
Yeah, because the NES is I think technically a more powerful machine than the Game Boy. So, and you can also do all that stuff with the controller. Like the rolling technique is just.
Do that shit with the Game Boy.
I can't wrap my head around that. That is absolute madness. I love that people are crazy enough to figure out how to make that work. Oh, I love the retro gaming community. I love it so much. All right, another one from Time Extension here. We have this is so cool. An undocumented Famicom Disk System game has just been discovered.
Careful. If it's undocumented, Chris, you got to be careful.
That's right.
Just say.
It's going to break into your house and slit your throat in the night.
That's right.
Let's see here. The story goes, the software was discovered by Junkya Hasi, a retro gamer and console repair person in Japan, who recently came into possession of 2 Famicom Disk System discs from a metal buying company in Kyoto that was going to throw them away. As he discovered after loading them up, the discs contained some rare and unusual materials, including what looks to be a dev build of HAL Laboratories' Eggerland for bug fixing, as well as a mysterious undocumented game entitled Maze T2.0. There's a screenshot of it. It's got like a character standing on top of they're not hexagons, but they're close. It's like a whole bunch of those, and it's a character standing in the middle of that. It's just a game that no one's ever heard of before. We don't know what it is or what it is. It's shared a screenshot of the undocumented game in action, which features a character standing in an isometric maze full of staircases. It's not exactly known who the author of this software is at the moment, or whether it's official or not. After all, the discs were rewritable. However, given the location, the hobbyist believes that it could have potentially belonged to an employee at Nintendo or HAL, which has people excited to know more. I know I'm one of those people.
Yep. That's really fucking cool. I love that shit. Like, finding these old weird ideas and things that might have existed, and that's just cool.
Sorry, a thing just came up.
It's called an erection, Chris. It happens to the best of us.
Oh.
Sometimes it's inconvenient, like when you're wearing sweatpants at school for the first time and she or he just happens to walk by.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry, there was something work-related was going on, and I have now dealt with it. Anyway, so yeah, I love those kinds of stories. Moving on. This is a story that I hate. Time Extension reports, quote, "This could be crippling. Fake PS1 discs just got harder to spot." This actually was something that Voltar was talking about on Twitter, which is really just kind of a scary thing. There has been a surge of PS1 counterfeits on markets such as AliExpress. These counterfeit PS1 titles are being pressed onto a dark substrate, which makes these counterfeits visually indistinguishable from the real deal.
Yeah, that sucks.
Now, obviously, you can, like, if you know what you're looking for, you can see the difference, like, in person. But, let's see, quote, some people have reacted negatively to the warning, pointing out that even with the black disc, it's relatively easy for people to spot the fakes if they know what they're looking for. And there's the fact that these discs won't run on unmodded PS1 hardware. However, as Voltar points out, not everyone knows what to look for when it comes to fakes. When you consider how much some of the rare PS1 titles sell for on the secondary market, it's easy to see why some unscrupulous people might see this as an opportunity to make a tidy profit. Video game stores and people using e-commerce websites are duped and tricked all the time by duplicates that are getting close to being, if not perfectly identical. So yeah, it's...
Well, and on top of that, too, you're getting... So much of this is investment and speculation where these duplicate games, I promise you, I know it to be true. People are not, like, they're never going to play that game. It's going to get shipped to them and it's going to get sealed away or relisted to try and flip in a couple of months. Like, you're not going to run the risk of trying to fucking, like, verify your game because you might damage it. That's like where the collectible market is across the board, right? So that's a fucking problem for the person who is getting it because they do love it and do want it as part of their collection for the right reasons, not for speculative bullshit.
Yeah, it's a... Look, reproductions, I think, are great. I think, in generally speaking, reproductions are very cool, because as long as they're clearly labeled, they're reproductions. It's like, well, I just want to play this game on original hardware, and I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on it, so I'll just buy a repro for $40. Like, that doesn't... I don't feel like that actually hurts anybody, and as long as you know what you're getting... you know that you're not getting an original disc or original cartridge, that's fine. Like, what damage does that do? It just helps people who want to play these games be able to play these games the way they want to play them. But to try to pass them off as the real thing, that's where things get kind of nasty. And I am very much not a fan of that.
Yeah.
2 out of 10.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Simple. Don't be a dick.
Speaking of not being a dick, Go Nintendo reports Preservationist archives 3D scans of classic Super Mario Bros. 2 toy line. These are so freaking cool, I didn't know these existed. It's let's see, for every piece of Nintendo history, blah blah blah. These Keshi Gomu rubber figures were distributed in 1993 by Bandai in honor of the release of Super Mario All-Stars and the Super NES. Today brings us a series of 5 Super Mario Bros. 2 toy scans. So basically, we talked about this guy several months ago who had scanned some other old Mario figures. It's a Shy Guy, Birdo, Wart, Mouser, and Ninja Super Mario 2 figurines. And they've been 3D scanned and preserved on the internet, which is freaking weird.
That's awesome.
Super awesome. And these figures look so cool. I had no idea they existed. I didn't know there was a little rubber Wart figure I could have had all this time. But yeah, way to go, video game preservation.
Well done.
Yeah. All right, here's an interesting story. I don't know if it's actually interesting, but it piqued my interest because it was directly related to something I was working on at work this week. Nintendo Life reports no Tomonobu Itagaki's game studio hasn't shut down. It's just had a name change. For a brief moment yesterday, it appeared that Tomonobu Itagaki's game studio had been dissolved. But fear not, the Devil's Third creator still has his dev team, albeit under a slightly different name. I don't think this studio has produced anything, actually. Maybe they will be making a new game now. This is the guy who did the Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden games. I think was always wearing the cowboy hat and the sunglasses and is kind of a notorious prick. And then he made Devil's Third, which was apparently awful. And nobody wanted to publish it, except for some reason Nintendo made it a Wii U exclusive, and it failed miserably, and nobody's heard from him since. I don't know. This is just such a weird thing to happen. And when they said that the studio was closing, the news went around about that. I was like, well, okay. I guess I can't say I'm surprised. I don't think they've done anything. But apparently, no, they're not closing. They just had a name change. Like, okay.
It's about time.
Weird.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Keep up the good work. Oh, let's see. IGN reports Roblox accused of massively inflating user stats and fostering, quote, hellscape for children in scathing report. Roblox has posted a lengthy statement to its investor relations website refuting the Hindenburg research report, calling the financial claims misleading and asserting that safety and civility have been foundational to Roblox since its inception. I feel pretty confident that that last part is a flat-out lie, but...
Yeah, Roblox is like a
wasteland.
breeding ground for pedophiles.
Yeah.
Just, my kids come up, because they still do Roblox shit, Katie more than Penn, or whatever. But, like, every week, there's a new story that I am being told about how one of the creators of a Roblox game is a fucking sex pest. And I'm like, look, there's two conclusions we could jump to here. Either the problem is you, and you are attracting these people, but that seems like victim blaming, and you're my kid. I don't want to do that. That feels like a lot to put on you. She always looks at me like, oh, dude, you're such a dick for saying that. I'm like, yeah, well, kind of a bully. It's okay. Or this is it's just a breeding ground for, if you're trying to attract children, this is the place to go. Just kind of is. Like, that safety and whatever shit they said, nah, it was about making money. That's what it was about.
Gross. I have no interaction with Roblox other than I just kind of intrinsically hate it.
The world is a terrible place, Chris. And Dean, you're here too.
I'm not here.
I feel like we're losing steam. Pick it up, Chris.
I'm about to.
Thank you.
Go Nintendo reports Universal Pictures and Sega bringing Shinobi to the big screen. Okay,
that seems
cool.
like
Great.
A fucking duh.
Ninjas.
Yeah.
I love ninjas.
Yeah, let's do it.
It better be as good as American Ninja, though. I'll tell you what.
Better be as good as Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas Kick Back.
There's been a decided lack of ninja action on the big screen.
I'm going to have to agree with you. You know, we got some decent martial arts in Shang-Chi, but we haven't had any follow up to that in quite some time, and I'm a little upset by it because I rather liked that movie. So where's my Shang-Chi 2?
The 80s and 90s, fucking
ninjas everywhere.
Lousy,
we couldn't
lousy with
dead
ninjas.
cat without hitting dead.
I mean, they were surfing too. They were everywhere.
Ninja golf.
Kwansu, dude. Kwansu.
Ninjas were everywhere.
They were. They need to be everywhere again.
They were like, I know. I'm gonna go watch some fucking Shaw Brothers movies when we're done.
Nintendo Life reports. I love this story. I love this story so much. Forget Switch 2. Nintendo has just revealed an official alarm clock. Alarmo.
I wouldn't be so
this has made me
if it wasn't for the price.
Irrationally angry this week.
Why? This is hilarious.
This
is the most ridiculous Nintendo thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so it's fucking stupid.
How much is it, Chris? Just say that. Say that.
That's the problem. I watched the trailer. I was like, this is so incredibly stupid. I'm pretty sure my phone can do all of this right now.
Yep.
But if it's less than $50, I might consider it because I'm a goon. But no, it's $100 goddamn dollars.
Yeah.
It is the third of a price of a Switch to get this alarm clock that only works if you're in bed alone.
That only works if you're a sad, lonely soy boy. Fucking stop it. I hate this thing. I hate it so much. And I hate it more.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I hate it more because guess what my kids want for fucking Christmas?
Alarmos?
Of course they fucking do.
Not even
of course
my
there's
kids
going
want
to be
this
two
thing.
of these fucking things in my house because I'm going to get them. I'm going to spend $200 on this fucking stupid phone app that they put in a circle. God. Nintendo was like, what if we took a phone app and put it in a circle? And all you fucking Nintendo fanboys went, yes, please. I'm already on my knees. Put it in.
It looks so fucking silly. Like, this is so stupid. And, like, I have no doubt in my mind, none whatsoever, that the reason this costs so much was to offset the R&D. There's
the R&D of making a scenario.
I don't care.
That's right. Nintendo probably spent so much time and money inventing something that already exists. And they're like, fuck it. Here it is. We've done all these things. And it's like the Wii U gamepad all over again. They're like, oh, wow, it can do all this. Everything. The iPad does all this. The iPad exists right now. I can buy that. And it's not connected. Yep. This tech exists. But Nintendo had already invested all the R&D to invent something that somebody else already invented first. And they put all this effort and all this sleep tracking and wacky shit in this alarm clock. Like, there's no question in my mind that's why this costs so much. Because I doubt the parts cost this much, but they're factoring in the work and the design that went into this. And, like, I would love to mess around with this dumbass thing. Like, I would just love to have one for the sheer absurdity of it. There is no amount of money that anyone could pay me to have an alarm clock that is even capable of waking me up in the morning to the sound of the Guardians from Breath of the Wild, that piano music. No. There is no. Yeah, that would get me out of bed, but it would then associate me having Chris, to get out of bed with all this, all these sounds that I love. Would
do that now.
Exactly, you can do all this shit now.
You can do it right fucking now. It's
I wear
not
my
hard.
watch to bed to track all this stuff that this thing's going to track. I don't want something next to me making coin sounds when I roll around in my bed.
That was the stupidest thing. I was like, why would I want that? Why would I want it to make noises while I'm stretching? It's like it'd be teasing me at that point.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people that are they're really not happy about getting up in the morning, and like the need for an alarm clock to get more and more aggressive the more you put it into to like snooze mode. Like,
it's going in the garbage.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who need that in their lives. I think I'm married to one, but
I have 6 alarms set. 6.
The fact that this exists is like, you're just going to wind up negatively associating Mario coin sounds with you having to wake up in the morning. Like, it's so delightfully absurd and so completely Nintendo. I love it. I hate that it's $100. I wish that I could buy one because it's just that stupid.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about it is exactly what you just said. It's so stupid. It's so delightfully Nintendo. If Sony did this,
everyone would be screaming.
Would be, oh my God. Or if
because
Microsoft did
fun.
this,
if Sony did this, it wouldn't be whimsical.
No, if they did the same thing, if they were like, look at Astrobot, let's put a bunch of fun, cute shit in here, people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with Sony?
No.
They would also charge $800 for it.
Like, they definitely wouldn't. They definitely wouldn't because they released that Astrobot PlayStation controller and people ate that shit up because it's awesome. And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, I want an Astrobot alarm clock. I would absolutely buy an Astrobot alarm clock. In fact, Sony is missing out by not doing an Astrobot alarm clock, and they would
fuck.
Oh my God!
We live in a world where they all start copying each other, like no alarm clocks that only track single people. That's the fucking wave of the future. I hated everything about it. Irrational.
It doesn't even need to do all that tracking shit. It just needs to be like a basic.
The Alarmo. Sandra Alarmo. Put them together. There you go.
Christ.
Oh, now it's all fucking coming together. I want Sandra Alarmo on my fucking alarm clock to wake me
Breaking news, Chipotle has brisket.
You haven't had it yet? It's fucking great. It's weird because it's like a sweet southern brisket, which doesn't really go with
Chipotle.
The rest of the flavors. But
have
it's very tasty.
Like $10 on a gift card to Chipotle, and I will do that this weekend if I can. But back to Alarmo. I also hate the name because alarm is an alarming word. So trying to make Alarmo sound cute, it kind of sounds dangerous. I don't know. This is so weird.
I hate this thing.
It's my favorite news story of the week.
I hate this thing as much as I hated when fucking Shigeru Miyamoto came out and was like, that's the future of music. We're going to do all this weird shit for a little bit.
What God?
Fuck off.
Watch me conduct a fucking noise palette in front of you.
Moving right along.
I'm sorry.
Nintendo
If you love this, like, fucking ignore me. I was miserable most of the week, and then this thing came out, and I was like,
yourself.
Fucking eat all the dicks.
Don't correct yourself. Tell him to go suck a dick.
I was also miserable this week, and this was the thing that brought me joy.
Put me right over the edge. Right over the edge.
Here's what I know you like. Nintendo Life reports a brand new Game Boy cartridge is launching from Green Day. Green Day's got amazing. This whole lineup of the worst possible ways to listen to their music, and I love it.
If you go on the website,
demastered.
Yeah,
15
you go on
tracks,
the website. It says, "In a way they were never meant to be heard."
Yeah, that's the official line. 15 tracks, 50 formats. The way it was never meant to be heard. It's just a Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh yeah,
a Billy Bass mouth bass thing. Like it's just. Way to go, guys. Love it. Keep up the good work.
Outstanding. And that album is so fucking good. It's such a seminal, important punk record. Like, it's just fucking Green Day rules. They're great. There you go. There's breaking news for you. Green Day, good band. You should check them out. I think they're going places, Chris.
Yeah, I think they might stick around for a while.
It might.
IGN reports old rivals Konami and FIFA sign eFootball esports deal following EA Sports split. Konami's Pro Evolution Soccer series had for years tussled with EA Sports' all-conquering FIFA series, before finally pivoting to the free-to-play eFootball. EA has largely cornered the market, locking up the rights to the Premier League, La Liga, and other popular leagues, with Konami left fighting for scraps. I'm not going to pretend to understand this. Soccer confuses the shit out of me.
Sure. Monopolies are bad. Breaking up monopolies and more people getting involved is better overall. Same way that, like, I wish more people made baseball games so that the show would innovate more than it does, you know?
I heartily
wish there were
agree.
more football games so that Madden would innovate more than it does.
There was a time in our lifetimes. There used to be, everyone could make sports games, and they did. There are tons of everybody had their own take on different sports games. They would compete every year. They would innovate, and then Electronic Arts ruined the entire industry by buying fucking football. And NFL should have said no. NFL should have said absolutely not, but they didn't. They said sure, pay us an absurd amount of money, and you can be the only ones to do it. And that ruined everything. That, I maintained to this day, was the beginning of the end for the video game industry. That was where everything started to go downhill.
You might
Electronic
not be
Arts ruined everything.
They honestly did, because like you look at something like what was the Sims, the gaming juggernaut that was in the 2000s. Where the fuck is that now? It's in the goddamn trash with the rest of those Sim games.
God, I never got the Sims.
It wasn't for me, but there were tons of people that still play The Sims 4 because it's the last one that came out, and they've been limping that bitch along on multiple different iterations of Windows now already.
I don't understand how people can deal, and it's the same problem I have. Like we've talked, I got yelled at by Tiff, so she's going to bed, so I have to be quiet. So we're gonna have to go NPR podcast now.
Okay, let's talk about this then.
So there are people who are not offended by the just inarguably stupid sounds that come out of characters' mouths sometimes. And I don't understand how people hear that and go, yep, 400 hours of this shit. Eat every dick individually. Eat every single one. Human, animal, I don't fuck. Fish. Eat a fish dick.
There you go, Kanye.
I can't fuck. I don't understand how people hear that kind of shit and it doesn't make them want to impale themselves on a pitchfork. It goes right into, it hits just a frequency in my brain that makes me want to run out of the house fucking screaming.
Love it. Anyway, last but not least, because it's getting late, IGN reports, mystery Nintendo Switch online playtest generates wild speculation over Miiverse return, GameCube streaming, and other theories.
It's going to be a fucking heart monitor.
Cool.
So,
Nintendo
did an alarm
announced
clock this week.
A mysterious
what else
Nintendo
can my
Switch
phone do?
Nintendo announced a mysterious Nintendo Switch Online playtest program. Sign-ups went live on Thursday morning, and the playtest quickly filled up. Now fans have to wait 10 days to learn what this program is all about. And we will learn what it's all about, because even though they're having people sign NDAs, there is a 100% chance that this is going to leak. Whatever it is going to get leaked and exposed, because there's no amount of anything that can stop people from wanting to do whatever they can for online clout. But I'm very curious what this
17 seconds
is.
After it launches.
Yeah, the moment
I think Rumpleman said that.
Yeah, the instant that whatever this new app that they're going to have to download is, that's going to leak online. There's no question in my mind. So I'm curious. I have no idea what it is. It's certainly interesting. There's been a lot of weird stuff happening with NSO lately. In the last couple of updates, people have found evidence that they've been messing around with different peripherals like mouse support or light gun support.
I've heard about that.
Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. We're getting a return of Miiverse. Oh, yes, please. Like, if we can take everything that worked about Switch and combine it with everything that worked about Wii U and 3DS, like, Miiverse was so fun. Miiverse was such a great thing to have. I absolutely love Miiverse, and especially since they've removed all of the social media sharing, like, because Twitter is broken now, which is such a goddamn shame, because just that share button was the best thing ever. To be able to just share directly to social media video gameplay footage, that was great. And then Twitter ruined everything, and now nobody has it anymore.
Because we refuse to fucking switch to a new thing.
Well, no one can decide on the thing.
Can we all just move to one thing and let Twitter burn? Or, force Elon to sell it to somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing and stop calling it X. Fucking weirdo.
Yeah. He's busy jumping up and down on stage like a child.
It would be great to see Miiverse come back. I mean, I don't believe GameCube for a minute, because they're doing too many remasters of GameCube games. I feel like that's not the thing, but I don't know what it could be. But anyway, that's going to wrap up Week Old News. And with that, we're going to take ourselves our second break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Ski Patrol. You know you want it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking by with us. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Vestlord is here, clicking and clanging away on the controller for the entertainment of the public. That's right, the premier cyber sports entertainer is back in league with the Electronic Coliseum, where all the cyber sports entertainment happens. The Vestlord is going on a winning spree of likes unknown to get a shot at the coveted Electronic Coliseum Championship. If you want to see if the Vestlord has what it takes, head on over to the show notes for where to find him, or search Vestlord on Twitch or YouTube. Become a fan of the ECC, back the best, cheer for the Vest. See you there.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
Hi everyone, Chris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. And we're back. So theoretically, Hatch Tales codes have gone out to some Kickstarter backers. Of course, I have not gotten mine, so I'll just be angry for the rest of the night. Anyways, let's talk about video power. All aboard the SAG Cartoon Express, everybody. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. It's time to talk about video power. Season 1, Episode 23, Ski Patrol.
I have some questions.
I have some questions, too.
Namely, was this like a fully funded show, or was this some like PBS shit?
No, this was a real show, but it was part of another show. This was the Power team was a part of Video Power, which was like, it had some kid that would talk about let's see, first format, season 1. According to Wikipedia, the first format of Video Power consisted of both live-action segments and cartoon segments from the Acclaim Entertainment-produced series, The Power Team. The cartoon was an adventure featuring Johnny Arcade and a team of heroes from different NES games and a Game Boy game, published by Acclaim. Max Force, a policeman from Narc, Kuros, the knight from Wizards and Warriors, Tyrone, a basketball player from Arch Rivals, Quirk, a tomato from the game of the same name, and Bigfoot, a monster truck that had his own video game. The main enemy of each episode was mostly Mr. Big and his thugs, Joe Rockhead and Dr. Spike Rush from Narc. Outside of the crime factor, Malkill from Wizards and Warriors sometimes appeared, and was a much more sophisticated and intelligent villain. One episode did have the villains from Narc fighting the Power Team, who were suddenly interrupted by the appearance of Malkill. Mr. Big fails to understand magic, but elects to forge an alliance with Malkill to try and get rid of the Power Team. In the live-action segments...
And then throws hypodermic needles at them. Because Narc is fucking wild as shit.
Stevie Paskowski, in character, would review and preview games that were currently out or forthcoming for consoles. When giving hints and tips for gamers that were having trouble achieving certain tasks in games, he would end the tip-giving segment with the phrase, "And that's the Video Power Edge."
Mm-hmm.
So, first thing, that kid was a fucking dweeb. A dweeb. Like,
Tiff wanted to know why it was teenage Bobby Cannavale.
Fucking came out with what was that? The fucking the backpack or whatever thing that he had on, and
his proton pack.
Yeah, fucking he's floating around. He floats up, and he's all of a sudden he's up in the ceiling, and then his
but he's
clone,
wearing Reebok pumps.
Well, okay, great. He looks stylish. That's awesome. But the thing was, his clone came out. You said it was a duo. I swear to God, Chris, I thought that was the same fucking person. You tell me that's
he
two
was
different
wearing
people?
the same oversized mock neck polo shirt.
You tell me that's two different people. The same exact annoying fucking voice, hairstyle. They even kind of look alike. That two different people. They just found two fucking people that were both fucking dorks and just annoying in general. And they said these trailblazers are who I want to represent the 90s and awesomeness on our television network. These young, fine, upstanding gentlemen that don't look like they're just grown-up versions of Gremlins. That's what I want. Grown-up Cabbage Patch Kids. That right there. They suck. Like they sapped all the happiness out of those like segments. I could not stand them the fucking slightest.
He was really trying to sell Low G-Man. Really fucking trying to sell it hard.
I didn't see that YouTube one that had the live action bits. I didn't
actually. Oh, it was way better.
That.
Oh my God!
I have on Evan's Plex was the it was just the cartoon.
Just the cartoon.
So that's all I saw.
So I will say that shit was pretty bad. Like It basically ran like an advertisement, more or less, for whatever was on there. Not to skip ahead, but since we're not going to bring it up much, since the cartoon's the main focus, is they had a little pro tip segment for Skate or Die 2, and honest to God, it was literally just get good. Be good, get good, and you'll be fine. Like, it had one kind of good tip, and then the rest of it was just be good. Be good at the game. And you'll beat
It just
Skate
reminded
2.
me that Skate or Die 2 sucks.
Sorry, Skate or Die 2, not Skate 2. My apologies.
I know what you meant.
But yeah, it was not good tips, and I don't know what I was expecting. It was par for the course of the cartoon too, but yeah, it was very low budget, very stupid. And again, these kids were just trying so fucking hard that I wanted to do nothing more than turn it off. But like, I sat through it because I needed to know. Also, did you happen to catch the theme song for the Power Hour then, or Video Power?
So where mine picked up was just where it was a repeating animation of the kid sitting in front of the computer.
Oh, damn it.
And then the characters would come out and he would sit back. And then he'd be like, I'm playing Wizard Warriors.
Yeah, fucking
I'm playing Narc. And it was that was the whole intro.
Yeah.
And Ellie and I are just watching this like, what?
Yeah, so that was weird because you're staring at it and, okay, I know, we're doing it for an intro, but my man, I get it. We're using the same animation over and over, but he just looks like a fucking idiot leaning back in every time just for another thing to pop out at him. You'd think, just stand back, let them all come out. Why the fuck do you have to keep leaning in like a fucking dingus?
But there's also, like, there's not really much of an explanation of what's really happening. Like,
no, not at all.
My issue with this was, the voice coming out of Bigfoot, and then there was this kid at the computer at the end of the show. Like, wait a minute, who the fuck was this kid? But so there's like a kid somewhere that's leading this team of video game characters, and nobody seems to be nobody has any problem with this tomato and sunglasses just walking around in the real world. Like,
hey, fucking I had a little bit of respect to Quirk.
I had so many questions about the logistics of this show, because like when you look at something like Captain N the Game Master, which is a similar premise, every episode of the show breaks you down of like, here's the premise. This is what's happening. Kevin got sucked into this world, and now he's Captain N, and you have to fight the bad guys. But there doesn't seem to be that for this. It's just this kid sitting in front of his computer, and then all these Acclaim characters came out, and it's a basketball player and a monster truck and just Kuros for the box art. He doesn't look like he looks like in the game. He just looks like in the box art, and that's it. You figure it out.
Well, we don't even know if it's the real world or not, because then the kid starts saying, like, towards the end of the fucking thing, or when the action starts, like, game start, mission start, or something like that. He says something about, like, a video game, and it's like, are you playing them? Are you controlling them? Is that actually happening? I don't know, because it was never explained, and you're right, the intro does a terrible job of illustrating what's happening to someone who's never seen the show before.
You guys watched a different show than I did. I thought it was great.
I'm sure you did. Now, speaking of great, Mr. Big, I have so many notes about Mr. Big. Firstly, why is all his weapons shaped like cigars? Where do you even get those?
That's his shtick.
Just can't throw needles, might as well throw cigars.
I mean, have you played Narc? That game's fucking, again, wild as shit.
Okay.
It's like a big head that comes out at some point.
Okay, so we brought it up earlier, saved it to now. Firstly, what were we doing with the ski resort exactly? Because it was very bland what was going on there. Something with the ski resort was happening, but
he was causing avalanches.
Okay, sure.
And they had to pay him to not cause avalanches. It's a very simple business plan.
That's where the money was coming from, because I didn't quite understand. Like, I was like, is he gonna buy the resort and then, like, or is he gonna steal it? And then he starts doing this avalanche thing, and everyone's telling him he has the best idea in the world, and I'm like, no, you don't. This is the worst idea in the world. You're going to destroy everything with one avalanche, and then they're not going to want to pay. Now you're just a supervillain.
But that's why you use the cigars, is because, as we all know, like, I'm sure you've seen documentaries, you've been to school. A detonated blast caused by a cigar is a far more controllable explosive situation than using something like TNT, or, as we see later in the episode, throwing a fuck grenade at a piece of wire, because that would somehow fucking work. That you have to. The cigar is the preferred
Dan, you forgot about
demolition
the flash
method.
Paper cigar. You forgot about the flash paper cigar, Dan.
I'm just saying, Dean.
It all
seemed pretty obvious to me.
Why? What was with the money? Like, he wasn't. Okay, all right. They paid him the money, and then he was so concerned about just counting it, not that he could spend it or do anything else. He just wanted to count it like some autistic fucking bad guy. Like, just had just needed lots of it.
Gloves are off.
Lots of it. Just fucking, like, he's the Rain Man of bad guys, because he doesn't want to spend it. He just wants it. I don't think, does he know what money does? Because they don't seem to have any big, like, plans or super bad guy, like, vehicles or gadgets. Like, the most I saw was one dude on the snowmobile that he might have hired to drive the snowmobile. I don't think that's his dude. I think it's just some Uber dude who brought him the money, honestly.
Oh, like after the first avalanche?
Yeah.
When he's like, save me, and the dude comes down and then looks back up the mountain and is like, you're fucked, bro, sorry.
Well, hang on. Because, like, the avalanche hasn't happened yet. I watched it. I rewound it back. He says, help me. The guy tries to pick him up and then just walks off like, not my fucking problem. And then he says this shit about the avalanche. So it's like, did that guy really just not give a fuck? Like, that's fucked up, bro. He didn't know who he was.
Maybe he recognized him from his starring role in Narc, and he was like, well, this guy's fucking can't do this shit.
I will say that.
Have you seen his cigars?
That dude was hefty. Like, I might have not been able to pick him up either, but I would have at least said, okay, I'll be right back. Like, he didn't even say that. He just, He just fucked off. Actually, that whole sequence, I don't think that guy said a word.
Probably not. You would have to pay somebody to fucking voice a line.
Right? Oh.
That didn't seem to be in the budget.
Did you guys notice the part where they're doing the hang glider scene? And
I was just going to say,
of course, there was a hang glider scene.
I was just going to say, it's the same budget that went to the research of fucking how hang gliders work, because it wasn't how they do in the show.
Fucking goddamn! Like, at one point, one of the guys is holding the Rex fella, the doctor, and the guy, the hero, is supposed to be like having this one-liner joke about dropping him, but instead, whoever animated it didn't realize it was a different voice and made the bad guy say it. So the bad guy's basically just predicting his own doom. And it's like, oh God, what the fuck is wrong with this show?
And then they timed to an airplane, which that's not how that shit would work. If you got a hang glider close enough to a fucking airplane going to 700 fucking miles an hour.
Just ripped to pieces.
Nah, they were fucking even keel. Like, the best hang glider pilots literally of all time is a dude from Narc and the fucking cat from Wizards and Warriors. Somehow it's this weird fucking stupid human trick. But then they tie him to the plane and they explode him. They shoot a fucking missile at Mr. Big. And my kids were watching it with me, and they were like, what the fuck just happened? Right?
Like, he's dead.
And I was like, nah, it's got some... Elmer Fudd used to take double barrel fucking blast to the face every week from fucking Bugs Bunny, you know? And Pam was like, oh, this is like fucking Roger Rabbit.
No one explained the rules in this universe, though.
There are none. Why did they fucking pick arch rival? We've gotten some excellent comments on this show in the Discord, and there was this like superheroization of sports athletes and whatever, but the arch rivals, dude, like, you had to fucking name him Tyrone.
Bro, he was racist as fuck. Even his voice was racist. Like, god damn, he was so stereotypical.
And I'm not saying there are not black dudes that are indeed named Tyrone. I'm just saying, if you're a white dude and you're making a TV show and you're like, we got to have a token black character in it, it's going to be fucking named Tyrone, dude. 9 times out of 10.
He had the 80s rippity rap voice. He was one step away from like telling us about how bad he could step to the Mama Jammas or something. It was bad. Like that. He was wearing a tracksuit. Like,
I think I might have preferred that. Like, if they would have just fully embraced it. If he was just like the black character that's in every superhero movie that goes, whoa, Jack! Like, if it was just that guy, you know?
Fair. But, I mean, you know, we're G-rated, so they couldn't do it. They only stuck their toe in. The
biggest
characters were so interchangeable, too, besides the monster truck, because he was a literal fucking monster truck.
I don't know. I could see a monster truck on a fucking hang glider. Would have made as much sense as anything else in this fucking episode.
I mean, he had skis, Dan. He had fucking skis.
He had boats.
And
boat skis.
Boat skis. Oh, wait. Did you guys see the one scene where it's the 3 asshole villains going down the hill, and they try to illustrate, like, trees passing by, like, in the foreground, but they couldn't do it. So it looks like just trees walking past.
And they were Ents, dude. Obviously, it's a fucking crossover for the failed or canceled, rumored, some might say, mythical fucking LGN Acclaim Lord of the Rings game.
Oh man,
for NES.
For NES, obviously. Now, the one that stuck out to me the most was as they're riding up the fucking gondola cars, and dude throws a fucking grenade, and it explodes in the vicinity of the cable, and then
it just barely tears the cable.
37 minutes before the cable fucking is damaged enough. It's not how fucking grenades work. It's just not. That's not. No. Nope. Everything about that was fucking wrong. And then they were like, use the bolo shit. And then fucking Wizards and Warriors whore,
What an asshole.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, what
he fucking throws it out. It like wraps around it like 4 or 5 times, and then it still works exactly the same way as it's supposed to. Though that's not. What are we doing?
The only one they illustrated properly was the first guy. The second one, I was like, that looked a little weird.
And then
that schmuck, I was like, there's no fucking. How did he go from almost falling down to like having perfect form?
And on top of that, he has a fucking laser sword. Just do that. Why are we doing literally anything else? This guy can fucking melt windows with his sword. The fuck are we doing? We're gonna go through all this other bullshit. There's like a scene a minute or two later where the dumb henchman gets hit in the dick with a missile, and then he goes rolling down the fucking.
Well, did he not
down the mountain?
Speaking of the henchman, the other henchman I believe was named Spike, who looks weirdly exactly like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, he did.
Does indeed.
Now I'm thinking about it.
That's a little known fact also about this show. What the inspiration for Spike?
I think we're putting the cart before the horse, aren't we?
I don't know.
Wouldn't have this stupid thing became? God, I'm out of it. To be fair, I watched this right before coming on the show, and like I think the brain rot hit pretty hard.
I love that they never, in the course of this episode, that is based on their video game property Ski Patrol, ever really reference Ski Patrol.
No, it's just
They're not
a ski resort,
guest stars. There's just dudes that are on skis.
Yep. It was weird. Honestly, if you didn't tell me right now that Ski Patrol was a game that Acclaim made, I would have just assumed that was the setting for this weird episode.
All of that being said, this was so much better than Donkey Kong Country.
I agree with you.
It was so much better.
So much better?
This was hot garbage, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't unwatchable garbage.
It was difficult to watch, but it didn't hurt.
Okay, fine. Because I was going to say it's not like an extreme market improvement. It is an improvement, but not by much. It's again getting either punched in the face or kicked in the dick. I don't want either. So
I'll take punched in the face though, probably. This show, this segment of this show. If we're being honest with each other, right? If we're being completely honest, how many steps below Captain N, an average Captain N episode was this? Not fucking many.
No, not too many. The lack of explanation of
for anything.
What it was to kind of ease viewers into making more sense of what they were watching. I think that was really what held this back more than anything. It was pretty boilerplate stuff, but it was content. It was just content. It was all right. We're gonna make we Acclaim really wanted to be such a big deal, right? Acclaim really wanted to be this huge multimedia thing with their comic books and the whole 9 yards, and it was just like, all right, we got to make a cartoon. What are we going to do? Well, let's have somebody make this cartoon out of these characters, out of these properties, and just not put any thought into it at all. Like the whole Kyros thing cracked me up because that's the one that I know the most about. I know a decent amount of Wizards and Warriors lore, and he's talking like Thor, like pulling out all these things, but like he doesn't have a laser sword in those games. He can't shoot his sword like Link in The Legend of Zelda. Like that's not how that works. And
can now.
He doesn't look like that. Like that's what he looks like on the box art only. In the game, he's a knight in armor. Like that's his whole thing. So that was weird. And then you've got a basketball player. And what it was, I'm saying to myself, what is he going to do? Throw basketballs around? Like, what is this guy going to do? And then he fucking did. He threw a basketball.
That's what it was. It's not a missile to the dick. He fucking kills that guy by a basketball to the dick.
He
basketballs him in the dick, and then he fucking goes tumbling down the mountain, and everybody's like, well, all right. I guess
that's so much for that guy.
Just fuck.
There were two things I wanted out of the episode. The two things I wanted out of the episode, I was like, well, this is incredibly stupid. I want the basketball guy to throw basketball at somebody as a weapon, and I want the monster truck and skis. And I got both of those things. So, yeah, 10 out of 10.
This episode delivers on so many levels. It really is just so... It's not even fair, in my opinion, to compare this to fucking Donkey Kong Country. Like, it's just not this. It's bad. It's bad, and it shows like
in terms of
how
like
we had to slog through the lack of content being made about properties or hobbies that we care about by people that didn't care about them.
Yeah,
you know, like that. This was just. Oh, let's fucking do this, you know, and then it's paint by numbers corporate kind of shit. But man,
Narc, I mean, not the kid friendliest of properties,
no,
you know.
I cannot stress this enough. I cannot, especially if you've only played the NES version. The fucking arcade version of that game is
unhinged, and like just this. Mr. Big being this lumpy sunglasses wearing cigar missile guy is just what the hell? Like what this show is so
Al Pacino
weird.
From Dick Tracy. He's playing the same fucking character. He's playing Big Boy.
Yeah, he is playing Big Boy actually.
He is.
That's all I could think of the whole time I was watching him. I was like, I'd rather just be watching fucking Dick Tracy.
I kind of want to watch that incredible. Now. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good movie. It's a good bad movie.
One of the best movies ever made.
It was this. Yeah. These episodes are nice and short. So it was like, it didn't feel like it was taking a whole lot out of my life because it wasn't. If this had been a full like 22-minute episode, I think it might have been a lot more difficult for me to swallow. But fortunately, that's not the case.
I watched 30 minutes, Chris. 30 fucking minutes. Commercials included. The best part of the entire fucking thing was the commercials. Yeah, because I saw a commercial for Double Dragon 3. One of the Simpson games for the NES.
Bart versus the Space Mutants?
No, Bart's Nightmare, I think it was, or something.
No, it was Space Mutants.
Was it Space? I couldn't.
It was.
All right, well, fucking calm down. I said okay. Jesus.
I'm 90% sure. Now I'm doubting it because chemo brain. But Space Mutants, the one where he fights the mummies for some fucking reason.
All I'm saying is there were no Space Mutants in the commercial. That's all I'm saying. Oh, there was also this crazy commercial for a knockoff Barbie called Petra. And, like, I had no idea.
There was that. That was dope.
I had no idea that fucking existed. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this thing? It was talking about how Barbie's clothes fit Petra, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not legal to say. You cannot say that. But yeah, that was pretty neat. It was an interesting time capsule to watch, to say the least. The version that you sent me, because that was the coolest part. Like watching the field. I saw a fucking commercial for Squeeze-Its before it was like the crazy 90s thing. That was fun. Like, yeah, it was cool. That was the funnest part of it for me.
Yeah, man, this was fucking great. I loved it. 10 out of 10, no notes. It's perfect.
Well, I don't know about that, but
absolutely perfect.
All right. I take back my 10 out of 10 because we didn't actually get to see Bigfoot ski.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They just showed us. Yeah, but they couldn't animate it because they were really bad at animating things.
They were. This was a very bad-looking show. This was not an attractive cartoon by any stretch of the imagination. But they were able to animate those assholes on hang gliders. I want my monster truck skiing. God damn it.
I mean, the monster truck wasn't hang gliding.
And that's also, that's another point against it. Why didn't they make a hang glider for Bigfoot, huh?
They had enough time, apparently.
But that was the thing in the beginning of the episode, like the kid's voice was coming through Bigfoot's like dashboard. And then at the end of the show, Bigfoot starts talking. And so Ellie and I are just like, whoa, wait a second, the car can talk? Like, that's not... What?
Honestly, I thought it was always Bigfoot. I never picked up that it was two different voices. In the beginning, it's the kid's voice, the kid who sounds just like Kevin from Captain N, his voice coming through the speaker in the car. And then at the end, there's a different voice of
Bigfoot himself talking, and it was just very confusing.
Well, I mean, there were 20 some odd episodes. I don't think they put a lot of thought
into this cartoon.
You know what, Chris? We need to.
That is clear.
We need to watch more episodes. So, I mean, what else do we have coming up now?
Well, there you go. Therein lies the question. What is the next show on the Stone Age? Where is the next stop on the Stone Age Gamer Cartoon Express? Let's go to the old playlist here. Show. No, we gotta go more. We gotta go to playlists. There it is. Cartoon Express. And let's hit the old randomizer. What are we gonna get? There it is.
Excited, Syphil.
We just did that. Well, we've landed on another Donkey Kong Country. Shall I press the button again?
No,
is it too soon?
No, right into
it's too fucking soon.
No, I say we do it.
Dan's the cancer patient, all right? I don't want to actually kill the guy with Donkey Kong Country.
I just can't. I don't have it in me.
All right, I clicked it one more time, and we landed on Pac-Man, Season 1, Episode 14, Sir Chomp-A-Lot.
Done. This is going to be great.
So there you have it. The next stop on the SAG Cartoon Express is Pac-Man, Sir Chomp-A-Lot. Oh boy!
If we get Donkey Kong next time, you're stuck with Donkey Kong.
That's fine.
I think that we needed at least a 2-month break between Donkey Kong episodes. I just think anything less than that would be unfair, unreasonable to ask of any rational human.
So this is a Pac-Man cartoon from the 1982 Pac-Man cartoon series, not from the really fucking awesome Ghostly Adventures Pac-Man cartoon series. This is from fucking 1982.
Right. We stopped at old cartoons, right? Because otherwise there would be too much.
There might be actual good shit we enjoyed, and that's not fun for fucking anybody.
We could do that. We could just incorporate everything.
Do it.
There's like 900 different Sonic cartoons, but really, how many more video game cartoons have there been since then? Like the Pac-Man, the Ghostly Adventures. What else?
Onimusha, Castlevania.
Oh boy,
Cuphead.
That could be fun. That could be interesting.
Yeah, Cuphead was
Throw
a fun
those
show.
into the mix.
I
feel like that's a different show.
Well, like
maybe we do this for like a year, and then we like actually sit down and watch the Onimusha cartoon or the Castlevania Season 1.
Do you have
we just talk about episode by episode, like watch along kind of thing?
Do you have Sonic Underground on there? I feel like Sonic Underground should be on there.
I think Sonic Underground didn't make the cutoff. I think the Donkey Kong Country cartoon was the most recent thing we did.
Yeah,
and that was the year that we made the cutoff of like nothing newer than this.
Oh man,
but I think that is because the shows TV just changed so much by then. So no, I think the only Sonics we have are both the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and then just Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right.
And Double Dragon and Mega Man and Darkstalkers and
at least
Pole
Mega
Position
Man's on there.
And all that nonsense. Sad we haven't gotten any Mortal Kombat yet.
Once you get past Donkey Kong Country, like I'm looking at a list on Wikipedia here, you have Sonic Underground, but then you've got Rayman the animated series, a bunch of shit I've never heard of, until you get to 2006 for Viva Pinata series.
Oh wow, I forgot about that. There was the Kirby show that ran for like 19 years.
Kirby!
The
F-Zero
Power
show. Juju, Imagination, Whack Fu,
there was
Ape
a
Escape.
Fucking Tak cartoon. When the hell did Tak and the Power of Juju was on cartoon?
On Nickelodeon. Tak,
wow.
Tak, and the Power of Juju. Yeah, the whole thing.
There's a fucking
stupid.
Where's My Water cartoon on Disney. Angry Birds tunes, Pac-Man, Rabbids, Invisimals. Like
that's too much. No,
it's too much.
Let's stick with the retro.
Although we probably should put the Talking Tom and Friends shit in there, because why not? Because we hate ourselves that much.
Do we really?
Yes, we do.
Dan, this is a really exciting hockey game. I'm just saying, we're tied 2-2 in the third, 8:48 left. It's a good game. Anyways, all right, so there we have it, folks. That's the end. That's our show. We're going to wrap things up here. Join us next time. Theoretically, if I can get my shit together, it will be trivia time again. I'm not going to make that promise because I've been sick all week. I'm exhausted. I don't know if I can actually get my shit together, but if I can, we might do a trivia show next week. If not, we'll come up with something else to talk about.
Let's do a trivia show when I'm feeling like shit. That way everybody definitely wins but me.
All right, everybody. That's our show. We are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
Yeah, fuck you.
I
guys.
did it. I got the code. I got the code.
Did you?
Yes.
See, Dean, he wasn't even thinking anymore. He got the code. That was the end of the episode.
Yep.